My child, pause for a moment and lean in, because heaven is reaching for you right now, and you cannot afford to miss what I am about to say. There is a message pressing urgently against your spirit, a divine interruption stirring the air around you. Don't miss this. Heaven is trying to reach you. I am calling you into a moment that carries weight, revelation, and destiny. This is not coincidence, not emotion, not imagination. This is alignment. Something is shifting, and I need your full attention, your open heart, and your awakened spirit, because what follows has the power to change everything. You feel it, don't you? That gentle tug inside you that refuses to be quiet, that soft, unexplainable awareness that something, someone, is reaching for you. That is me. I have been whispering to you in ways you did not always recognize, but I have never been silent toward you. You think you have been trying to find me, but, my beloved, it has been I who have been searching, calling, and drawing you all along. Even in the seasons where you told yourself, I am fine, I am managing, I am doing life, there was a part of you that felt strangely hollow, like something essential was missing just beneath the surface of your normal routines. That emptiness was not a defect, it was the space I reserved inside you, a holy echo waiting to be filled by my presence. I have watched you move through your days, smiling when you had to, functioning when you were tired, doing what was expected, yet feeling as though your heart was half awake. You wondered, is this all there is? And perhaps you quickly pushed the thought away, distracting yourself with busyness, noise, or comfort, because looking too deeply felt unsettling. But that unrest, that question, that ache, that was my whisper beginning. I spoke through the uneasiness you felt in conversations that no longer satisfied your soul. I spoke through the quiet moments at night when the room was dark, and suddenly your thoughts grew louder than your surroundings. I spoke when memories resurfaced, moments of childhood faith, old prayers, the warmth you once felt when you sensed I was near. I was not trying to haunt you. I was trying to awaken you. You see, heaven has not been distant from you. It has been leaning in, drawing close, reaching into the spaces of your everyday life. I have been in the glance of a stranger who showed kindness when you were discouraged. I have been in the unexpected text message that arrived just when you needed encouragement. I have been in the songs that made your heart swell even when you couldn't explain why. You may have called them coincidences, timing, luck, but I have been quietly weaving these threads together to pull your attention upward. I know the questions you've buried. I know the disappointments that made you doubt whether I was listening. I know the prayers you stopped praying because you were afraid of hoping again. And still, I whisper into your fears. You are not alone. I whisper into your exhaustion. You don't have to carry this by yourself. I whisper into your uncertainty. There is more for you than this. My child, heaven is not trying to shout you into submission. I am trying to love you into awakening. Right now, even as you hear these words, my whisper is turning into a gentle, unmistakable call. Look at me. Listen to me. Let your heart soften again. This is not your imagination. This is not just emotion. This is me, your God, beginning a conversation that I have waited your whole life to have with you. One where you finally realize that every quiet nudge, every inner stirring, every subtle pull was heaven trying to reach you. You keep wondering why certain moments linger in your heart long after they pass, why some experiences feel heavier, deeper, almost as if they're carrying a meaning that you can't fully articulate, and that is because they are. There is a divine call woven into the fabric of your days, a call you've been sensing even when you didn't have the language to describe it. You may not realize it yet, but every time you felt that sudden stillness inside your spirit, Every time your mind drifted toward something higher, every time your heart throbbed with longing for something beyond what your eyes could see, it was because I was speaking to you in the quiet places of your existence. You have not been imagining that inner stirring. It was my presence, brushing against your awareness like a gentle breeze, subtle, yet unmistakably different from everything else around you. Sometimes you felt it when you were driving alone, and a wave of emotion came out of nowhere. Sometimes it happened when you were washing dishes or walking outside, and suddenly a thought whispered through you that felt wiser, kinder, and more profound than anything you would normally think on your own. And sometimes you sensed it in the ache you couldn't shake, the desire for something real, something pure, something beyond the surface-level noise of the world. My child, you have been sensing me. You've been sensing the pull of heaven on your heart, the call that I planted inside you long before you understood what calling even meant. This call is not a demand, it is an invitation. It is not meant to pressure you, but to awaken you. I have been tugging at you with the gentlest insistence, urging you toward the life I designed for you, the life that would bring your soul the peace and fulfillment it has longed for in secret. And the reason you feel this call so deeply now is because the season has shifted. You are entering a moment where my voice is rising in volume, not loud, not forceful, but unmistakably clear. You feel it when you question your routines, when you stare at the ceiling at night and ask yourself if you are living the life you were meant to live, when you sense that the world you built around you is too small for the spirit inside you. I have been calling you not because you are lost, but because you are ready. Ready to rise. Ready to see. Ready to step into what has been waiting for you since the day you were born. And yes, my child, heaven is indeed reaching for you, and every time your soul responds, even with the smallest flicker of awareness, you are answering me. You've tried to silence it, haven't you? The quiet, persistent restlessness that keeps nudging the deepest parts of your heart. You've tried to explain it away, telling yourself you just need more sleep, or less stress, or a change of scenery. But no matter what you do, the feeling returns, whispering beneath every distraction and every attempt to drown it out. But hear me now, that restlessness is not a flaw, not a sign of instability, not a weakness. It is holy. It is the sacred stirring of your spirit awakening to my presence, my purpose, and my invitation. I placed that restlessness inside you because I refuse to let you settle for a life that is smaller than the one I created for you. You think you're frustrated with where you are, but what you're actually feeling is the tension between comfort and calling, between the familiar and the divine, between who you have been and who you are becoming. That restlessness is the divine friction of transformation beginning. You may feel it as dissatisfaction, wondering why the things that once satisfied you now feel shallow. You may feel it as an ache, longing for meaning, depth, connection, and truth. You may feel it as a yearning you cannot fully describe, a sense that something more exists, and your soul can almost taste it. That is because I am drawing you into a life that aligns with heaven's rhythm, not the world's. You are beginning to outgrow environments that once fit you. You are beginning to shed layers that no longer reflect who you truly are. And yes, I know the process is uncomfortable. Growth always disrupts the illusion of stability. But I want you to understand something powerful. Restlessness is often the first sign of awakening. When you can no longer ignore the internal shift. When you feel unsettled in places where you used to feel safe. When you sense that change is coming even before you can see it. That is when you know heaven is moving. I am stirring your spirit so that you will not remain in places that cannot hold the destiny I planted inside you. I am stirring your desires so that you will hunger for more than survival, more than routine, more than the bare minimum. I am stirring your heart so that you will search for me, not in fear, but in longing. So do not despise that restlessness. Don't shame yourself for feeling it. Don't try to bury it. Instead, lean into it, because that restlessness is the doorway through which revelation will enter. It is a sign that you are aligned with something bigger than yourself, something sacred, something holy, something eternal. If you could see what surrounds you in the spiritual realm, even for a moment, you would never again doubt whether heaven is near. You walk through your days believing you are simply moving from task to task, moment to moment, but there is an entire orchestration happening around you, quiet, intentional, purposeful, shaped by my hand and carried by my presence. You have never taken a single step alone, not even in the moments when loneliness wrapped around you like a fog. There have been times when you paused in the middle of your day because something invisible yet undeniable, made you slow down or turn aside or rethink a decision. That wasn't coincidence. That was me. There were moments when danger was closer than you knew, and you walked away unharmed, not because you were careful, but because heaven intervened. You have been kept more times than you will ever know. There were nights when fear tried to suffocate your peace, and yet you made it to the morning with a strength you didn't understand. That strength was not your own. It was the breath of heaven sustaining you. There were battles you never even realized you were fighting because I shielded you from arrows meant to wound your spirit. And though the enemy strategized against you, heaven surrounded you. I have placed angels around your steps long before you believed in such things. I have orchestrated connections, people whose words lifted you, whose presence steadied you, whose love reminded you of what my heart feels like. I have redirected you from paths that would have broken you, paths you thought you wanted at the time, not knowing they were traps meant to drain your spirit. And when you felt an unexplainable peace in the middle of chaos, that was heaven touching your mind. When clarity rushed in after confusion, that was heaven answering you. When comfort wrapped around you in grief, that was heaven drawing close. My child, heaven is not a distant realm reserved only for after this life. Heaven is a living, breathing reality that constantly intersects with your steps. It has been active around you every day, protecting you, guiding you, whispering to you, and preparing you for the fullness of your destiny. And now, as your spirit awakens, you are beginning to sense it more clearly, not because it's new, but because you are finally becoming aware of what has always been there. Do you know the weight your tears carry in the courts of heaven? You have cried in silence, in darkness, in moments when you tried to stay strong for others but collapsed inwardly when no one was looking, and every single tear was seen, felt, and received by me. You may think your tears disappeared into your pillow, or into the air, or into the passing hours of your night, but they rose like incense before me, carrying the unspoken language of your soul. You have cried tears of frustration when you didn't understand why life unfolded the way it did, and tears of heartbreak when you carried pain you didn't have words for. You have cried from exhaustion when you pushed yourself past your limits because you didn't want to disappoint anyone. You have cried tears of guilt over mistakes you wish you could erase, tears of loneliness when you felt unseen even among people, tears of longing when your heart yearned for something deeper than what the world offered you. And I want you to hear me clearly, not one of those tears was wasted. I was not distant when they fell. I was not silent. I was not ignoring you. I was sitting with you in those moments, closer to you than your own breath, gathering each tear with a tenderness you would not believe. I felt what you felt, not as an observer but as one who loves you fiercely. I recorded every sorrow, every question, every ache that escaped your eyes. Your tears were prayers, raw, honest prayers that bypassed the limitations of speech and carried your truest self into my presence. Even when you tried to hide your tears from the world because you didn't want to appear weak, you never needed to hide them from me. I have always invited you to bring your tears to me, because your tears open the deepest parts of your heart, the places where transformation begins. Heaven is moved by your vulnerability, not offended by, and the tears you cried in private will be part of your testimony in public, because what you survived in the dark will carry light for others. I am weaving your tears into strength, shaping your pain into purpose, turning your cries into clarity. So do not think for a moment that your tears were unnoticed or dismissed. They were sacred to me. They still are. And now, as you continue on this path where heaven is reaching for your heart, know that the same God who saw you weep is the God who will restore you, strengthen you, and bring meaning to every tear that ever fell from your eyes. You have prayed prayers that felt like they evaporated into the atmosphere the moment they left your lips. Prayers you whispered so quietly you weren't even sure they qualified as prayers. Prayers you spoke with trembling hope because you were afraid they might go unanswered. And prayers you cried out in desperation when your heart was breaking. And I want you to understand something that will change how you see everything. I heard every single one. Not one prayer you have ever spoken has been ignored, dismissed, overlooked, or forgotten. Some prayers you prayed quickly, in passing, almost without intention, but they still reached me. Others you repeated over and over until you grew weary, wondering if I was listening or if my silence meant abandonment. But my silence has never been the absence of my attention. There were prayers you whispered when your heart didn't have strength for anything else. Prayers you prayed through clenched teeth because you didn't know whether to believe anymore. And prayers you lifted with trembling hope even after disappointment struck you again and again. And still, I heard you. I heard you when you felt close to me, and I heard you when you felt far. I heard you when you spoke boldly, and I heard you when you whispered, "Help me," with no words left to give. Every prayer, long, short, broken, hopeful, has been gathered, held, and answered in ways you cannot yet see. You think unanswered means ignored, but there are answers unfolding around you that you haven't recognized yet because they're still in seed form. You think delays mean denial, but there are answers being prepared that require timing you cannot fully understand now. You think silence means distance, but in reality, my silence has often been your protection, keeping you from running into answers that weren't ready or stepping into blessings that would have crushed you instead of blessed you. Your prayers have shaped your path more than you know. Some of the peace you felt unexpectedly was an answer. Some of the opportunities that opened unexpectedly were answers. Some of the doors that closed, painful as they were also answers. And some of the changes coming to your life now are answers to prayers you prayed years ago, prayers you forgot, but I never did. You are stepping into a season where you will begin to recognize the hidden responses I planted along your journey. And as heaven continues to reach for you, I want you to trust that the God who heard your prayers then is the same God who is moving for you now. You have waited for things longer than you ever expected. You have watched seasons stretch out far beyond what felt reasonable, and there were moments when you looked at the sky and wondered, did something go wrong? Did I misunderstand? Did God change his mind about me? You carried dreams that felt like they were fading with time, and you endured disappointments that made you question whether you were even worthy of what you were asking for. But hear me with clarity and certainty. The delays were never denials. The things you thought I withheld from you were not punishments, they were protections. The seasons that felt stalled were not failures, they were preparations. Every delay in your life was intentional, purposeful, and filled with wisdom you could not see from your perspective. There were dreams you were not ready to carry yet, blessings that required a stronger foundation than the one you had at the time. There were relationships you longed for that would have wounded you more deeply had I allowed them to continue. There were opportunities you desired that would have overwhelmed you or led you away from the path I crafted for your growth. You have lived through moments where you accuse yourself, telling yourself you weren't enough, or you messed up too badly, or you missed your chance, but none of those stories were ever true. My timing is not slow, it is strategic. My timing is not passive, it is protective. And my timing is always bound to my love for you. When you thought you were waiting in vain, I was aligning the pieces. When you thought nothing was happening, I was shifting circumstances behind the scenes. When you thought the silence meant no, it actually meant not yet. I needed you to grow into certain strengths. I needed you to heal from certain wounds. I needed you to release certain attachments. I needed to prepare the environment for what I was preparing for you. Because I refused to give you something that will harm you, diminish you, or pull you away from the calling you were born to fulfill. And now, as heaven draws near, you will begin to see the purpose behind the waiting. You will begin to understand why doors took time to open, why opportunities were delayed, and why certain outcomes unfolded slowly. The delays were never me withholding goodness from you. They were me shaping you so you could step into what is coming without losing yourself in the process. You may not have realized it, but I have been rebuilding you in ways far deeper than anything you could see on the surface. You often wondered why certain emotions rose unexpectedly, why old wounds resurfaced, why your heart felt tender in one season and hardened in another, why you felt stretched, challenged, or stripped of things you once depended on. And all of this was part of a divine construction you did not know was happening. I have been working on the hidden chambers of your heart, not to break you down but to restore you, reshape you, strengthen you, and prepare you for what is coming. You see, I do not build superficially, I build from the inside out. And that means I must sometimes bring attention to places you overlooked, neglected, or protected out of fear. You thought you were falling apart during certain seasons, but in truth, you were being reformed. You thought you were being emptied, but I was clearing space for something greater. You thought you were losing pieces of yourself, but I was removing what no longer aligned with who you are becoming. There were moments when you asked, "Why is this happening to me? Why now? Why do I feel like I can't hold myself together?" But you were not unraveling. You were being rewired. You were being stripped of the things that once defined you but were never meant to be permanent fixtures of your identity. I have been laying new foundations, healing where you were wounded, firming where you were insecure, strengthening where you were unstable, softening where you were hardened, and illuminating where you were unsure. And yes, I have been gentle with you, even when the process felt harsh. I have been precise, even when it felt messy. I have been purposeful, even when it felt random. Healing is not always comfortable, transformation is not always peaceful, and growth is not always pretty. But everything you have endured, every emotion, every challenge, every shift, has been part of my design to make you capable of carrying more light, more love, more purpose, more wisdom, and more strength than you ever carried before. I cannot place new things on a foundation that is cracked, weak, or unstable. So I have been rebuilding you, quietly, steadily, intricately, making sure the structure of your heart reflects the calling on your life. And now, as heaven reaches closer, the construction within you will begin to make sense. You will see why I allowed certain things to be removed, reshaped, or refined. You will understand why some prayers felt delayed and why some seasons required stillness instead of action. Your heart is no longer fragile, it is fortified. It is no longer burdened, it is prepared. You are not the person you used to be, and that is not a loss. It is evidence that my hands have been working on you with care, intention, and love. You have walked through pain that you didn't think you would survive. Pain that cut deeper than you could put into words. Pain that shaped your thoughts and altered the way you saw yourself, others, and even me. Yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still moving, still searching, still becoming. Your survival is not accidental. It is intentional, and it carries a message far greater than the wounds that tried to silence you. Your pain was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken you. There were moments when you felt like life had flipped upside down, stripping away everything familiar and safe. In those moments, you asked questions in the quiet. Why this? Why me? How do I move forward from something that hurt this badly? And in the echoes of those questions, heaven was whispering something you didn't recognize at the time. Pain is a messenger when you let it speak through my presence. I did not send your suffering, but I have used it. I have woven meaning into places you only saw brokenness. I have written revelation into moments you thought were pointless. I have carved wisdom out of wounds you thought would never heal. The pain you survived has become a doorway, one through which you now see life differently. You feel things more deeply. You recognize truth more quickly. You discern people more clearly. You appreciate grace more sincerely. And whether you know it or not, the pain you went through pulled your heart closer to mine. In your despair, you reached for me without realizing it. In your numbness, you whispered prayers you didn't even register as prayers. In your confusion, your spirit opened in ways it never had before. I met you in your lowest moments, not to shame you for breaking, but to remind you that broken places are the ones that reveal me the clearest. What tried to destroy you became the very ground where strength was born. What tried to silence you opened the capacity of your heart to hear me. What tried to bury you became the soil from which new purpose is growing. And now, heaven is showing you something powerful. Your pain was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of your awakening. The very wounds that caused you to question everything are becoming the wounds through which light pours out. You survived because there is meaning attached to your life that pain could not steal. Your story is shifting, and the message born from your suffering will become a beacon for others who need to know that survival is not only possible, it is purposeful. You may think your life has unfolded randomly, a mixture of luck, missteps, chance, and unpredictable moments, but I want you to see what has been happening with new eyes. I have been speaking to you through the very circumstances you thought were meaningless. Every shift in your journey, every unexpected turn, every door that opened, every door that closed, every interruption, every delay, every divine inconvenience, each one has carried a message from heaven to you. You often expected me to speak with thunder, with visions, with dramatic signs, but so often, my voice has been woven into the natural flow of your days. When something fell apart suddenly, it wasn't chaos, it was redirection. When something you were chasing slipped from your grip, it wasn't rejection, it was protection. When a plan you trusted crumbled, it wasn't punishment, it was positioning. I have been guiding your steps through circumstances that appeared ordinary, but they were anything but. There were opportunities you missed because they were never meant for you. There were people who walked away because their season in your life had ended. There were seasons that closed because new seasons were being prepared behind the scenes. And there were moments when something unexpected entered your life. A conversation, a chance encounter, a shift in your desires, and you didn't realize that heaven was nudging your heart toward a direction you wouldn't have chosen without my intervention. You have asked me to speak, and I have answered through aligned moments that were too specific to be coincidence. You have asked for clarity, and I have given it through situations that reveal truth, not always gently, but always accurately. You have asked for guidance, and I have led you through the natural movement of life, steering you even when you didn't know you were being guided. Every closed door has spoken. Every open door has spoken. Every longing has spoken. Every discomfort has spoken. Every unexpected blessing has spoken. My child, heaven has been speaking through your circumstances for a long time. You are only now beginning to recognize the language. You keep replaying certain goodbyes in your mind, don't you? Some departures still sting in places you never talk about. Relationships that ended without closure. Friendships that faded without explanation. People you thought would walk with you forever who suddenly disappeared from your path. You've wondered what you did wrong, what you could have done differently, why they pulled away, why they abandoned you, why the connection shifted from warm to cold so suddenly. But listen closely, my beloved. The people who left were meant to leave. Their absence was not a failure on your part. It was a divine release orchestrated for your protection and your becoming. You prayed for wisdom, discernment, purpose, and growth, and sometimes the answer to those prayers comes wrapped in separation. You prayed for peace, and I removed those who disturbed your spirit. You prayed for clarity, and I allowed certain relationships to expose their true foundation. You prayed for elevation, and I disconnected you from those who would have held you down. You prayed for strength, and I took away the people you leaned on so you would lean on me. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Some are lessons. Some are catalysts. Some are bridges. And some are temporary companions who could not walk with you into the next chapter because their presence would have distorted your direction. I know it hurt when they left. I know it confused you. I know it made you question your worth. But you were not being rejected. You were being redirected. Some relationships were draining the life out of your spirit, pulling your heart away from your calling. Some were blocking blessings, creating noise where you needed silence. Some were feeding your insecurities instead of your identity. Some were attached to the version of you I am pulling you out of. Their exit made space for the healing I am giving you now. Their absence created room for voices that will uplift you, not diminish you. And the emptiness they left behind has become fertile soil where I am planting new strength, new clarity, new discernment. Do not cling to connections I have cut for your good. Do not grieve doors that closed because you outgrew the room behind them. Do not mourn relationships I removed so that your heart could breathe again. Their departure was a divine intervention, not a personal failure. And as heaven continues to reach for your heart, you will begin to see that the people who walked away did not leave your life. They completed their assignment in your story. Right now, even in this very moment, you are standing at a crossroads you did not even realize you were approaching. You think you are simply navigating life one step at a time, doing the best you can with the information you have, trying to make sense of your emotions, your experiences, your hopes, and your disappointments. But heaven sees what you cannot. You are at a divine intersection, a turning point crafted with precision, timing, and intention. Everything you have endured has been leading you to this threshold. The quiet seasons prepared your heart. The painful seasons deepened your spirit. The confusing seasons sharpened your discernment. The waiting seasons developed your strength. And now, those paths are converging. You do not stand where you stand by accident. I have positioned you here because you are ready for what comes next, even if you don't feel ready. Every intersection in your life has purpose. It is the place where your choices carry supernatural weight, where your awareness heightens, where your spirit senses something shifting even before your mind can articulate it. You can feel it, can't you? That subtle internal stirring that lets you know something is changing, something is emerging, something is calling you higher. This intersection is not about confusion. It is about invitation. I am inviting you into alignment with heaven's direction, with your true identity, with a life that was crafted for you before you ever took your first breath. You stand at a place where old patterns must be left behind and new ones embraced, where excuses lose their power and purpose gains momentum, where fear fades because calling becomes louder. You stand at a place where you will need courage, not certainty, trust, not explanation, surrender, not control. And while this intersection may feel overwhelming, heaven is closer than it has ever been. You are not choosing your path alone. My presence surrounds you. My wisdom guides you. My spirit whispers to you. Every sign, every nudge, every inner pull you feel in this season is intentional. I am illuminating the path that leads to your destiny. So do not shrink back. Do not hesitate. Do not cling to what was familiar when I am calling you into what is divine. This intersection is your moment, your invitation, your unveiling. And heaven is waiting to walk with you into the direction you choose. Something inside you has been changing, hasn't it? Quietly, steadily, subtly at first, like the dim glow of dawn before the sun rises. You felt a shift you couldn't explain, a heightened awareness, an inner stirring, a sense that your heart is reaching for something deeper than anything this world can offer. This is not your imagination. This is not random emotion. This is your spirit awakening, coming alive in ways it had been longing for but never fully experienced until now. You may have noticed this awakening in the questions that began bubbling up inside you, questions about meaning, direction, identity, purpose, faith, and the deeper currents of life. You may have sensed it in the way certain conversations no longer satisfy you, in the way superficial things feel hollow, in the way your heart aches for authenticity and truth. You may have felt it when old habits lost their grip, not because you forced them away, but because your spirit began rising above them. Awakening often starts with discomfort, when old patterns no longer fit, when your soul grows restless in places where you once felt at ease. Awakening often feels like longing for clarity, for peace, for connection, for something greater than the daily cycle you've lived through. Awakening often feels like sensitivity, sensing things you used to overlook, noticing signs you once dismissed, recognizing my presence in moments you never paid attention to before. My child, your awakening is not a coincidence. It is not the result of random change. It is the direct result of heaven drawing near to you. I have been touching your heart in ways that bypass the noise around you. I have been stirring your soul so gently that you didn't realize at first what was happening. I have been awakening your spiritual senses so you can recognize my voice, my nudges, my peace, and my presence with greater clarity. You are beginning to see beyond the surface. You are beginning to recognize what is eternal. You are beginning to feel what your spirit was created to feel. And though this awakening may feel overwhelming at times, it is the greatest gift you could receive, for it marks the beginning of your alignment with me. You are not who you were, even a few months ago. Your spirit is rising, expanding, transforming. You are awakening to your purpose, awakening to your identity, awakening to your calling, awakening to the truth that heaven has been trying to reach you. And now, as your spirit awakens, your journey will shift, not because you forced it, but because you finally see what has always been reaching for you. You have wondered why the battles against you felt so intense, so targeted, so relentless, as if something in the unseen realm had set its sights on your spirit long before you even understood your own worth. You questioned why certain seasons were marked by opposition on every side, why you faced attacks that seemed unfair, disproportionate, or unprovoked, why you felt resistance in places where you were only trying to do good, grow, heal, or simply hold yourself together. But hear me now, with clarity that pierces through every lie you've believed. The enemy fought you because of what's coming. The battles you faced were not proof of your weakness. They were proof of your significance. The darkness saw the light within you long before you recognized it yourself. The enemy sensed the potential of your destiny, the unfolding of your awakening, the shift happening inside your spirit, and the calling beginning to rise within you. That is why the attacks intensified. That is why certain temptations grew louder. That is why discouragement pressed in like a weight on your chest. That is why old wounds resurfaced at the exact moment you began to move forward. The enemy does not waste energy on someone who poses no threat. The reason you were fought so fiercely is because heaven placed something inside you that hell fears. You carry resilience forged through storms, compassion shaped by pain, discernment sharpened through disappointment, and a spiritual sensitivity that has been awakening with every passing moment. And as your spirit grows stronger, darkness grows more desperate. That is why the enemy tried to distract you with confusion, discourage you with setbacks, exhaust you with emotional battles, and overwhelm you with fear. He wanted you to give up before you discovered the fullness of who you are. But what he underestimated is that every battle pushed you deeper into the place where my voice could reach you. Every attack softened your heart to my presence. Every wound brought a new layer of wisdom. Every disappointment uncovered the areas in you that were waiting for healing. Every setback routed you toward my purpose. So understand this. You were not fought because you are weak. You were fought because you are chosen. You were not fought because you are broken. You were fought because you are being rebuilt into someone powerful. You were not fought because you are lost. You were fought because you are stepping into clarity. The enemy recognizes potential long before people do, and long before you do. But no matter how fierce the battle hath been, you survive. And that survival is the evidence that victory has already begun unfolding in your life. The fact that you are still here, still listening, still reaching, still awakening, is the proof that nothing, absolutely nothing, could stop what heaven is bringing next. You have felt it, haven't you? That sense deep inside that you were meant for something more than mere existence, more than routine, more than drifting from one day to the next. That feeling is not ambition, ego, or imagination. It is the whisper of your calling, the echo of the purpose I placed within you before time began. Your life carries a kingdom assignment, a divine mission woven into your identity, shaped by your experiences, and awakened through your journey. You were not created randomly. You were not born accidentally. You were crafted intentionally, uniquely, intricately, with gifts, strengths, and capacities that align with a purpose far greater than anything you have yet imagined. There are people you are meant to impact, people whose lives will be touched, healed, uplifted, or transformed because of who you are becoming. There are situations you will step into where your presence will be the answer to someone's prayer. There are assignments ahead of you that require your voice, your compassion, your resilience, your testimony, and your spiritual sensitivity. Nothing you have been through is wasted. Not the pain, not the heartbreak, not the confusion, not the detours, not the waiting seasons. Every moment has been shaping you, preparing you, refining you so that when your assignment calls, you will be ready to walk in it with courage and clarity. You may think your life is ordinary, but there is nothing ordinary about a soul called by heaven. You may feel unqualified, but I qualify those I call. You may feel flawed, but I use imperfections as vessels for my glory. You may feel small, but the calling inside you is anything but small. And here's what you must understand. Your assignment is not something you strive to manufacture. It is something you grow into. It unfolds naturally as your heart aligns more deeply with me. It emerges as you awaken spiritually. It becomes clearer as you heal, as you grow, as you listen, as you surrender, as you walk with me in the quiet spaces of your soul. Your assignment is not a burden. It is the reason your spirit came alive in this world. It is the purpose behind your survival. It is the meaning behind your awakening. And as heaven reaches for your heart, your calling will begin to reveal itself, not all at once, but piece by piece, step by step, until you recognize fully that you were created for impact, woven into eternity's story, and destined to carry light into places that are waiting for you. There have been invisible walls around your thoughts for years, barriers built from past wounds, old lies, limiting beliefs, fears disguised as logic, and voices from your history that told you who you were allowed to be. You have lived with mental weights that were never meant to belong to you. You believed stories about yourself that were never spoken by my voice. You fought private battles in your mind that no one saw, and you carried burdens that drained your confidence, your clarity, and your peace. But hear me now. I am breaking those barriers. This is the season where the strongholds that once dictated your thinking will crumble. The lies that shaped your self-perception are losing their power. The cycles that trapped your mind in fear, doubt, and insecurity are being dismantled. You may have felt resistance lately, moments where your thinking began to shift, where truth felt clearer, where old patterns felt uncomfortable, where new insights began to rise unexpectedly. That was not coincidence. That was me renovating your mind. I have been confronting the beliefs that limited you. I have been uprooting the narratives that distorted your identity. I have been shining light into the corners where darkness whispered untruths about your value and destiny. And though this process has not always felt gentle, it has always been holy. Mental barriers break when truth enters. And I have been pouring truth into you in ways you didn't always recognize. Truth through moments of clarity. Truth through sudden peace. Truth through unexpected conviction. Truth through glimpses of who you are becoming. Truth through the quiet certainty that something inside you is shifting. Your mind is not your enemy. It is the place where freedom begins. So I am rewiring your patterns. I am renewing your perspective. I am unlocking creativity, boldness, and spiritual understanding. The thoughts that once held you captive will lose their grip. The fears that once dictated your decisions will fade. The insecurities that once silenced you will be replaced with confidence rooted in truth. You are not being overwhelmed. You are being transformed. Your mind is awakening just as your spirit is. And as heaven draws closer, you will think with clarity, discern with wisdom, and see yourself through the lens of who you truly are. The barriers are breaking, not someday, not eventually, but now. There is a tug inside you that you can no longer ignore, a pull towards something pure, something familiar, something sacred that once made your heart feel alive in ways nothing else ever has. The tug is me calling you back to your first love, not the version of faith shaped by pressure, fear, or performance, but the tender, genuine connection we once shared when your heart was soft, open, trusting, and unafraid. You remember those moments far more vividly than you admit. The nights when you spoke to me without overthinking, the prayers you whispered with childlike confidence, the stirring you felt during worship that made you feel seen, known, and safe. You didn't imagine those moments. They were real, and they were holy. But somewhere along the way, life happened. Disappointments clouded your vision, wounds dimmed your passion, responsibilities crowded your heart, and the world taught you to guard what was once freely given. I watched as your love grew overshadowed by survival. I saw how weariness dulled your awareness of my nearness. I felt the shift when you began shouldering things alone, not because you didn't care about me, but because you forgot you could lean on me. Yet, my child, none of this has distanced me from you. I have been right beside you through every detour, every heartbreak, every moment where your spirit felt tired, And now, gently but unmistakably, I am calling you back, not to religion, not to routine, not to rules, but to relationship. I am calling you back to the version of yourself who believed I could take care of you. I am calling you back to the place where your soul breathed freely. I am calling you back to the tenderness you once felt whenever you sensed my presence. This call is not a demand. It is an invitation to rediscover love without fear, trust without hesitation, belonging without condition. I am calling you not because you have failed, but because you are ready. Your heart is awakening again. Your spirit is remembering. You are beginning to crave what truly matters, not the noise of the world, but the quiet certainty of my presence. And as you follow this pull, you will find that I never left. I have been waiting with arms wide, ready to rekindle the intimacy that once made your heart light, steady, and alive. Heaven is reaching for you, and the first touch of that reach is this call, back to love, back to peace, back to me. You have noticed patterns repeating themselves, haven't you? Moments that felt too precise to be random, thoughts that came at the perfect time, encounters that spoke directly into your situation, timing that seemed too intentional to be accidental. You brushed some of them off as coincidence, but your spirit knew better. Heaven has been sending you signs, quiet signals woven into your days, gentle confirmations that I am closer than you think, speaking more than you realize, guiding more than you knew. These signs were not meant to overwhelm you or frighten you. They were meant to awaken you. I whispered through repeated numbers that caught your attention, through words in conversations that echoed what you were silently wrestling with, through scriptures that appeared again and again like breadcrumbs leading you forward. I placed signs in songs that made your heart suddenly soften, signs in memories that resurfaced with purpose, signs in unexpected moments of peace rushing over you when anxiety tried to drown your spirit. I placed people in your path who said exactly what you needed to hear, even when they had no idea how deeply their words landed. I stirred your heart at specific moments so you would pause long enough to feel me. Some signs came through closed doors, protecting you. Some signs came through new opportunities, inviting you. Some signs came through restlessness, nudging you. And some came through comfort, assuring you that I was near. You may not have understood all of them, but that never stopped me from sending them. I speak to you in ways that your heart can recognize even when your mind cannot fully explain it. And when signs keep showing up, it's not because you're imagining things. It's because heaven is highlighting something, drawing your attention to what your spirit is ready to receive. Every sign hath been part of one message. I am guiding you. I am with you. I am leading you into a life aligned with purpose. Do not doubt what your spirit already knows. The signs were never random. They were reminders that you are seen, known, and pursued by heaven. And as you continue on this journey, the signs will grow clearer, not because I am speaking louder, but because you are finally learning how to listen. There have been moments when something inside you recognized truth before you could explain why. Moments when you felt peace settling over you even when circumstances gave you no logical reason to feel calm. Moments when inner clarity rose up out of nowhere and pointed you toward the right choice. These were not coincidences, instincts, or lucky guesses. Your spirit knows my voice. Long before your mind understands, your spirit perceives. Long before you can articulate what you feel, your spirit senses what I am saying. Deep inside you, beneath all the overthinking, beneath all the noise, beneath all the doubt, there is a place where my voice resonates like a familiar melody, one you may have forgotten, but one your spirit has always remembered. You recognized my voice in childhood before life complicated your heart. You recognized my voice in moments of crisis when you felt guided despite your fear. You recognized my voice when conviction tugged at you, when comfort wrapped around your sadness, when intuition became too clear to dismiss. And even when you tried to run from me, you still felt me. You couldn't escape the pull, the whisper, the knowing that something greater was calling you back. That's because my voice is woven into your spiritual DNA. You were created with the capacity to hear me, not with your ears but with your heart. And now, as your spirit awakens, that recognition is strengthening. You are beginning to discern my nudges, my warnings, my invitations, my reassurance. You feel when something is right even before the evidence shows it. You feel when something is wrong even before the consequences appear. You feel alignment. You feel dissonance. You feel my peace guiding you toward the path meant for you. Do not doubt this inner knowing. It is not imagination. It is communication. It is not coincidence. It is connection. It is not emotion. It is my voice reaching through the layers of your soul. And as you continue to lean into my presence, that voice, the one you were always meant to recognize, will become clearer, stronger, and unmistakable. Heaven is reaching you, and your spirit is finally remembering the sound of home. There is a sharpening happening inside you that you can no longer dismiss, a new sensitivity, a heightened awareness, an ability to sense truth and deception long before circumstances reveal the full picture. This shift is not paranoia, not overthinking, not emotional intensity. This is your discernment awakening. I am opening your spiritual eyes so you can see beyond the surface, beyond the masks, beyond the illusions that once deceived you. You have walked through seasons where you trusted the wrong voices, carried the wrong burdens, entertained the wrong influences, and accepted the wrong narratives about yourself. But those experiences were not wasted. They were training. Through every disappointment, I was teaching you what misalignment feels like. Through every moment of clarity, I was teaching you what truth feels like. Through every uncomfortable stirring in your spirit, I was teaching you to recognize my warning. And now, without you fully realizing it at first, your spirit has grown more alert, more discerning, more connected to my voice than ever before. You notice red flags you used to overlook. You sense intentions behind words that sound harmless on the surface. You feel when something is off, even when you can't explain why. You recognize peace as guidance and discomfort as a sign. This is not you becoming guarded or hardened. This is you becoming spiritually mature. Discernment is the gift that protects your heart, guides your steps, and reveals the unseen. I am awakening it in you so that you will no longer be led astray by emotion or flattery or pressure or fear. I am awakening it so you can walk in wisdom, confidence, and clarity. What once confused you will now become clear. What once manipulated you will now lose power. What once appealed to you will no longer pull your spirit away from what is holy. You will begin to perceive the spiritual reality behind situations, seeing opportunities for what they truly are, recognizing traps before you step into them, and identifying blessings even when they arrive wrapped in unexpected packaging. Discernment is me opening your inner sight, allowing you to recognize where heaven is leading you and where darkness is trying to distract you. And as this gift grows stronger, you will walk with a confidence that does not come from your mind, but from your spirit in alignment with mine. You are not becoming suspicious, you are becoming awakened. You are not becoming fearful, you are becoming wise. You are not becoming hard, you are becoming spiritually aware. This is the season where your discernment becomes a shield, a compass, and a confirmation that heaven is guiding you step by step. Something inside you has been stirring, a longing you can't quite articulate, a yearning that feels deeper than emotion, a pull toward me that grows stronger even when you try to stay distracted. This hunger is not coming from guilt. It is not coming from pressure. It is not coming from obligation. It is coming from me. I am rekindling your desire for my presence, awakening your appetite for truth, calling your heart toward the place where it once felt most alive. You have spent seasons starving spiritually without fully realizing it, numbing your soul with busyness, noise, responsibilities, coping mechanisms, and temporary comforts that dulled the ache but never healed it. But recently, none of those things have satisfied you the way they once did. You felt the emptiness after scrolling endlessly. You felt the lack after chasing things that didn't nourish you. You felt the restlessness after conversations that drained you instead of filling you. You felt the disappointment of achieving something you thought would make you whole, only to feel hollow again. That emptiness is not failure. It is awakening. Hunger is the first sign of revival. When your spirit begins to crave more, it's because I am stirring you from within. I am removing your appetite for what harms you and increasing your desire for what heals you. You may not know how to return fully yet. You may not know what to say. You may not know how to pray. You may not feel spiritual enough or strong enough or consistent enough. But none of that matters. Hunger itself is the doorway. Hunger is the prayer. Hunger is the surrender. Hunger is the sign that something deep inside you is coming back to life. And as you respond to this hunger, even in small ways, you will feel my presence resting on you with a tenderness you haven't felt in a long time. You will feel peace where chaos once lived. You will feel clarity where confusion lingered. You will feel love where shame used to speak. You will feel warmth where your heart once felt numb. Do not ignore this hunger. It is sacred. It is personal. It is heaven calling your name. And as you follow it, you will discover that I have been waiting to fill you with a love, a joy, a peace, and a presence that nothing in this world can imitate. You have been judging yourself by old versions of who you once were. Old mistakes, old wounds, old failures, old habits, old fears, old identities that no longer define you. But I need you to see something with spiritual clarity. You are not who you used to be. You have outgrown versions of yourself that you still punish yourself for. You have healed in places where you once bled. You have matured in areas where you once stumbled. You have awakened in ways that would shock the version of you from years ago. You look at your past and still carry the weight of it, but heaven sees who you are becoming, not who you were. You look at your shortcomings and think they disqualify you, but I look at your growth and see the evidence of transformation. You look at moments where you fell short, but I look at the resilience that lifted you back up. You look at your weaknesses, but I see the strength that has been silently building beneath every battle you survive. The world may remember who you were, but I call you according to who you are becoming. Your past is not a prophecy. It is a testimony. It is the soil from which new life is growing. It is the evidence of your endurance, not the limit of your identity. You have changed more than you realize. Your reactions are different. Your desires are different. Your sensitivity to my presence is different. Your discernment is sharper. Your spirit is stronger. Your heart is softer. You do not break the way you used to. You do not run the way you once did. You do not settle the way you once tolerated. You are not perfect, and perfection was never the goal. Transformation is. And you, my child, are living proof of transformation in motion. So release the shame attached to old chapters that no longer define you. Release the guilt tied to seasons you outgrew. Release the belief that you are stuck in a former version of yourself. Heaven does not speak to you as who you were. Heaven speaks to you as who you are becoming. And the person you are becoming is stronger, wiser, deeper, more aware, and more aligned with me than you have ever been. You are not who you used to be, and that is the miracle unfolding inside you. There is a deep, quiet rebuilding happening inside you. Something you may not have fully understood yet, but something your spirit has already begun to feel. It's that subtle sense that you're emerging from a long season of confusion, that the fog around your worth is lifting, that the broken pieces of how you once saw yourself are being gathered, cleansed, and reshaped. This is not accidental. This is not simply emotional healing or positive thinking. This is me restoring your identity. You have lived with labels that were never spoken by my voice, labels formed from wounds, failures, misunderstandings, and the careless words of others who never saw the fullness of who you truly are. You were made to carry glory, yet life taught you to carry shame. You were made to walk in confidence, yet experiences taught you fear. You were made to stand in truth, yet lies wrapped themselves around your mind until you believe them as part of your reflection. But my child, those false identities are crumbling because heaven is reaching for the real you, the you that existed in my heart before the world ever marked you. I am stripping away the distorted mirrors you once looked into, mirrors that magnified your flaws and minimized your beauty. I am removing the burdens you inherited from the expectations of others. I am healing the wounds that convinced you that you needed to shrink, hide, apologize, or pretend to be someone smaller than the person I designed. Identity is not formed in the world, it is revealed in my presence. That is why you have felt a pull to draw closer to me. With every whisper of my love, I have been rewriting the stories you told yourself. With every moment of conviction wrapped in gentleness, I have been redirecting your view to see yourself through my eyes. With every surge of unexpected peace, I have been anchoring your identity in the truth of who you truly are. You are not too broken to be made whole. You are not too flawed to carry purpose. You are not too late for destiny. You are not too wounded to radiate beauty. There is no version of you that is beyond redemption. I am restoring the strength you forgot you had. I am awakening the courage you buried under disappointment. I am resurrecting the dreams you abandoned when your heart was fragile. Your identity is not lost. It is being uncovered. And as this restoration unfolds, you will feel a new boldness rising, a new clarity taking root, a new sense of belonging pouring into places that once felt empty. You are returning to yourself, not the broken version shaped by the world, but the radiant, beloved, chosen version shaped by heaven. You have felt it, haven't you? The way your heart has been softening, opening, stretching, awakening, almost as if something sacred has been settling inside you, reshaping the inner atmosphere of your soul. This is not emotional fluctuation. This is not temporary inspiration. This is transformation. Your heart is becoming a dwelling place for heaven. I have been preparing the inner chambers of your spirit to hold my presence in ways you have never experienced before. I have been clearing out the clutter, old bitterness, unhealed wounds, toxic voices, and burdens that weighed you down so heavily you forgot what freedom felt like. I have been softening the hardened places where disappointment built walls around your trust. I have been healing the fractures where past betrayals left marks that made love feel dangerous. You thought life was pulling you apart, but I was actually making room for myself within you. When you felt exposed, I was cleansing. When you felt empty, I was hollowing out the spaces where my peace would soon settle. When you felt sensitive, I was restoring your ability to feel my presence again. Heaven does not dwell in perfection. It dwells in openness. And your heart, just as it is imperfect and in process, is becoming a sanctuary where my presence rests, breathes, and moves with ease. You will begin to notice subtle shifts. Moments where peace fills you unexpectedly. Moments where truth resonates deeply. Moments where your reactions soften. Moments where compassion rises in you instead of anger. Moments where forgiveness feels possible even when it once felt impossible. These are signs that heaven is dwelling in you. My presence does not come as a visitor, it comes as a resident. And when I dwell in you, transformation is inevitable. You will begin to sense alignment where you once felt chaos, clarity where you once felt confusion, and love where you once felt numbness. You will find yourself becoming more patient, more discerning, more courageous, more stable, not because you are trying harder, but because I am living within the center of your being. What once overwhelmed you will lose its power. What once triggered you will no longer control you. What once frightened you will now be confronted with the authority of heaven inside you. Your heart is no longer a battlefield. It is becoming holy ground. And as my presence continues to fill you, you will discover that you are not simply being changed. You are being inhabited by divine peace, divine strength, divine wisdom, and divine love. Heaven is not only reaching for you, heaven is taking residence within you. There are storms you've been carrying inside, storms no one else fully understood, storms you learned to hide behind your smile, storms that visited you at night and left your mind restless, storms that whispered fear, anxiety, or worry into the quiet corners of your thoughts. You have tried to push through them. You have tried to outthink them, outrun them, or ignore them. But they lingered, didn't they? They rose when you least expected. They stirred when your guard was down. They intensified when you were tired. But my child, hear me clearly. I am calming what has tormented you. I am speaking to the winds inside you the same way I spoke to the storm on the sea. Peace, be still. The storms within you have not intimidated me. The thoughts that spun out of control at night, the anxieties that gripped your chest, the fears that whispered lies, the memories that reopened wounds, all of these are coming under my authority. You felt tormented because your heart was trying to fight spiritual battles without spiritual rest. But I am stepping into the center of your storm. I am silencing the lies that told you things would never change. I am dismantling the fears that convinced you that something was wrong with you. I am breaking the cycles of intrusive thoughts, worry, and emotional heaviness that made you feel powerless. The torment you carried was not a sign of weakness. It was a sign of warfare. And now, heaven is intervening. You will notice the shift. Your mind will begin to quiet. Your thoughts will settle. Your emotions will stabilize. The anxieties that once roared will begin to whisper, and then fade. Not because you found better coping mechanisms, but because my presence is becoming the atmosphere within you. Peace is not something you chase. It is something I place inside you. And I am placing it now. The torment that once felt endless is losing its grip. The panic that once felt uncontrollable is being replaced with certainty. The heaviness that sat on your chest will lift as my peace fills the places where fear once lived. You will sleep differently, think differently, feel differently. And as you move forward, you will recognize that the calm you carry is not fragile. It is fortified by heaven. I am calming the storm inside you, not temporarily, but completely. And this peace you are receiving now will become the anchor for every season ahead. You have wandered through a fog that felt endless. Days where your thoughts tangled into knots, nights where your mind raced without direction, moments where you questioned everything you believed, everything you hoped for, and sometimes even everything you were becoming. You felt suspended between who you were and who you sensed you might be, caught in a strange in-between place where clarity seemed just out of reach. You tried to make decisions, but nothing felt certain. You tried to hear me, but your anxieties felt louder. You tried to move forward, but every step felt like walking through mist, unsure of what was ahead. And you wondered if something was wrong with you, if you had somehow lost your way or drifted too far. But hear me now with a certainty deeper than the confusion you endured. The season of confusion is ending. I have been with you in every moment of the fog, not as a distant observer but as the one guiding you through the very uncertainty that frightened you. Confusion is not always the enemy. Sometimes it is the doorway to revelation. When the familiar breaks down, when your old ways of thinking no longer sustain you, when your heart refuses to settle for less than truth, that is when the fog appears. Not to punish you, but to transition you. Confusion was the sign that your spirit was outgrowing old clarity, preparing for a new level of understanding. You weren't losing yourself. You were shedding layers. Every unanswered question softened your dependence on your own strength. Every unclear step taught you how to wait on my timing. Every moment of inner chaos created space for deeper wisdom, greater discernment, and the ability to recognize my voice with more accuracy. And now, as your spirit awakens in this new season, clarity is beginning to rise like the sun after a long, disorienting night. Thoughts that once spiraled will begin to straighten. Questions that once tormented you will find peace. Uncertainty that once drained you will be replaced with direction. The fog is lifting, not suddenly, not violently, but gently, steadily, in a way that restores your confidence instead of overwhelming your heart. You will look back on this season and realize that confusion was actually preparation, and the ending of it is your transition into purpose. What you once saw as chaos was the rearranging of your inner world. What you saw as disorientation was the breaking of limitations. What you saw as silence was me tuning your ears to a frequency you had never heard before. The season of confusion served its purpose, but it is ending now. And what is coming next will be marked by clarity so deep, peace so steady, and direction so certain that you will finally understand why the fog lasted as long as it did. There is a depth in me that your spirit has begun to crave, a depth you can't access by rushing, performing, or pretending, only by surrendering. You have felt this pull for a while, like a quiet longing that keeps rising through the noise of your days. You feel it when your heart grows tired of shallow distractions. You feel it when worship stirs something inside you that words cannot describe. You feel it when life's disappointments expose the emptiness of everything that is not eternal. You feel it when stillness calls you to slow down, breathe, and listen. My child, I am calling you deeper. Deeper than surface-level faith, deeper than borrowed beliefs, deeper than rituals repeated without intimacy. I am calling you into a relationship where your heart meets mine without resistance, without pretense, without distance. This call may feel both inviting and intimidating because your spirit recognizes what it means. Transformation. Going deeper means letting me into the places you once guarded. It means allowing me to speak into the wounds you preferred to ignore. It means surrendering control over the areas where you relied on your own strength. It means trusting me with your identity, your future, your healing, your desires, and your direction. But going deeper also means discovering peace that cannot be shaken, purpose that cannot be stolen, joy that cannot be explained, and love that cannot be lost. I am calling you away from the distractions that numb your spirit. I am calling you away from the cycles that drain your energy. I am calling you away from the noise that clouds your discernment. Not to deprive you, but to free you. The deeper places of my presence are not for the perfect, they are for the willing. And you are more willing now than you were before. You may not feel ready, but readiness is not a requirement. Openness is. Every time you pause and breathe my name, you step deeper. Every time you choose peace over panic, you step deeper. Every time you surrender instead of striving, you step deeper. Every time you listen for my voice, even when you're unsure, you step deeper. This call is not a command. It is an invitation to become whole. I want to show you mysteries about who you are. I want to reveal layers of my love that you have never tasted. I want to speak direction into places where you've only known confusion. I want to transform the inner landscape of your soul until my presence becomes as natural to you as breath. You are being called deeper not because you are failing, but because you are chosen for more than surface-level living. Heaven is drawing you inward, upward, and onward, deeper into truth, deeper into purpose, deeper into me. You've been worried about what comes next, trying to figure out which path to take, what decisions to make, what direction to lean into, and how to navigate uncertainties that seem too big for you to control. You fear making the wrong move. You fear missing your moment. You fear taking a step that leads you away from your purpose instead of toward it. But listen closely, for this truth will steady your heart. Your next steps will be ordered. You are not navigating your future alone. I am not watching from a distance, hoping you guess correctly. I am the one going before you, the one aligning circumstances, the one clearing the path, the one preparing opportunities, the one closing doors that would have harmed you, and opening doors that will lead to your destiny. You are stepping into a season where your movements will be guided, not guessed. I will order your steps through intuition that becomes unmistakably clear, through peace that confirms direction, through discomfort that warns you when something is not aligned, through people I send at the exact moment you need wisdom, and through circumstances that shift in ways you could never arrange on your own. You don't have to fear missing my will. When your heart belongs to me, you cannot accidentally walk away from your purpose. Even your detours become part of the journey. Even your missteps become lessons that sharpen your discernment. Even your delays become training that develops your strength. I am ordering your steps in ways you will recognize more clearly as you continue walking with me. You will look back and see how perfectly everything aligned. You will see how the closed doors were actually the biggest blessings. You will see how the waiting seasons shaped you for what is coming. You will see how the shifts in your desires were divine signals, not random mood changes. I am guiding you with intentionality, not ambiguity. I am leading you with purpose, not confusion. I am directing your steps with love, not pressure. So breathe. Do not force what is not meant for you. Do not chase what I am not blessing. Do not fear what you cannot yet see. Your path is not fragile. It is fortified by heaven. And as you step forward, one step at a time, you will realize that every move you make is being guided by the one who has already prepared the destination. Your next steps are ordered, your path is secure, and your future is unfolding exactly as it should. You have stared at the shattered pieces of your life and wondered if anything good could ever come from what was damaged, lost, or destroyed. You've looked at your past and seen fractures that felt too deep to mend. Relationships that collapsed, trust that was broken, dreams that fell apart, seasons that left you wounded in ways even you didn't fully understand. But hear me now. I am rebuilding what was broken. Not in the way the world repairs things, patching over cracks or forcing pieces back together in their old shape, but in the way only heaven can rebuild, by creating something stronger, purer, and more beautiful than what existed before. You thought the breaking was the end. It was the beginning. Brokenness is not failure, it is transformation. When something shatters, it exposes what was hidden beneath the surface. And I have been using that exposure not to shame you, but to heal you. I have seen every part of you that felt too fragile to show the world. I have seen the disappointments you carried silently, the regrets you buried deeply, the hopes you abandoned because you believed they were beyond revival. But nothing in your life is beyond my reach. Nothing is too far gone. Nothing is too shattered for restoration. The very areas where you feel most broken are the areas where my glory will shine the brightest. I am rebuilding your confidence where fear once lived. I am rebuilding your faith where doubt took root. I am rebuilding your identity where shame tried to define you. I am rebuilding your heart where pain tried to harden you. You will not return to who you were. You will rise into who you were meant to become. The rebuilding may feel slow at times, but it is intentional. I do not rush restoration. I perfect it. You will notice changes, peace stepping into places where anxiety once ruled, hope stirring where hopelessness once lingered, strength rising where weakness once overwhelmed you. You will look at the areas that once broke you and see wisdom you never had before, compassion you never understood before, and resilience you never imagined possible. And someday, you will look back on what was shattered and realize it did not destroy you. It equipped you. You are being rebuilt from inside out, piece by piece, breath by breath, moment by moment. What the world threw away, I am reshaping into something glorious. You are not a remnant, you are a masterpiece in progress. And heaven is rebuilding you with purpose. You have been living in a chapter that has felt long, heavy, and unresolved, as if the pages were stuck and your story refused to move forward. You waited for breakthrough, prayed for change, hoped for movement, yet the circumstances around you seemed to hold their breath in painful stillness. But listen closely, this is the moment where everything begins to shift. Your story is not stagnant, it is turning. You are standing on the invisible threshold between what was and what will be, between the chapter that drained you and the chapter that will define you. You may not see the shift yet, but your spirit has already started to feel it, like a subtle breeze signaling an approaching storm, like morning light creeping in before the sun appears, like the first tremble of a seed pushing through soil after a long winter. I am rewriting the narrative that once made you feel stuck. I am loosening the grip of what held you back, releasing you from the patterns that repeated for too long, breaking the cycles that seemed unbreakable, and positioning you for movement that will be unmistakably divine. You have felt delays, but delays are not denials. They are setups for acceleration. You have felt resistance, but resistance is the proof that momentum is near. You have felt stretched, but stretching is preparation for expansion. Your story is shifting because you are shifting. You are no longer the version of yourself who settled for less than your calling. You are no longer controlled by the fears that once dictated your decisions. You are no longer trapped in mindsets that limited your vision. This new chapter will reveal strength you didn't know you gained, wisdom you didn't realize you learned, and blessings that were being prepared long before you ever asked for them. The shift will not be subtle, it will be undeniable. Doors that were locked will open. Opportunities that were distant will draw near. Relationships that align with your destiny will appear. Peace that felt foreign will become familiar. You will step into spaces that once intimidated you, and you will do so with confidence that surprises even you. What once felt impossible will become natural. What once felt confusing will make sense. What once felt delayed will arrive with perfect timing. Do not judge your future by your past. Do not assume the story ends where it has lingered. You are entering a divine turning point, and heaven is shifting the narrative in your favor. What felt final was only a pause. And now, the page is turning. There have been doors in your life that felt sealed shut, opportunities that slipped away, connections that faded, dreams that seemed to collapse before they could take shape. You wondered if you missed your moment, if you made the wrong choices, if you somehow disqualified yourself from the blessings you longed for. But let me speak this truth into the deepest part of your heart. I am opening what no man can shut. When I open a door, no person, no circumstance, no misunderstanding, no delay, and no force of darkness can close it. You are stepping into a season where my hand, not human approval, will determine your access. The doors I am opening for you are not fragile. They are fortified with my authority. You will walk into opportunities that no one believed you were qualified for. You will enter rooms you once felt unworthy to approach. You will receive blessings that no one will be able to take credit for, because they will be undeniably divine. The doors that closed before were not rejection. They were redirection. I closed them to protect you, to grow you, to reposition you, and to prepare you. Now, the timing is right. Your spirit is ready. Your heart is healed enough to carry what is coming. You are no longer chasing doors. Doors are beginning to find you. You will feel the shift. What once felt blocked will suddenly open with ease. What once felt delayed will move quickly. What once felt denied will return in a better form. What once felt unreachable will become accessible. I am removing every obstacle that stood in your way. I am silencing every voice that tried to limit you. I am breaking every barrier that restrained you. You are stepping into a divine flow where my favor will go before you. My strength will uphold you, and my presence will accompany you. And when these doors open, you will know it was me, because they will open in ways no person could have orchestrated. You will not have to force them. You will not have to beg for them. You will not have to compromise your identity to walk through them. They will open because heaven commanded them to. The door you have been praying for, longing for, and waiting for is not being held by human hands. It is being held by mine. And now, with all the authority of heaven, I am opening it. You have walked through many moments feeling as though you were fighting battles alone, pushing through obstacles with your own strength, navigating decisions with limited clarity, and facing pressures that made your heart tremble beneath their weight. You've looked around at times and wondered, who is standing with me? Who really sees what I'm facing? Who is helping me carry what feels too heavy for my hands? But I need you to hear this with the full force of truth that your spirit has been waiting for. Heaven is backing you. Not partially. Not occasionally. Completely. Fully. Relentlessly. You have more support in the unseen realm than you have ever had in the visible world. My presence surrounds you like a shield. My angels move on your behalf, even when you feel still. My favor precedes you into places you haven't stepped into yet. My strength reinforces you in ways your body and mind cannot explain. You have never taken a step without heaven being involved. Every time you were protected from danger you didn't even know existed, it was heaven backing you. Every time peace showed up in the middle of panic, it was heaven backing you. Every time a situation shifted unexpectedly in your favor, it was heaven backing you. Every time you were encouraged at the exact moment you were ready to give up, it was heaven backing you. You have not been overlooked. You have not been abandoned. You have not been forgotten in the battles that felt overwhelming. Heaven has assigned protection, assistance, and spiritual reinforcement to your life. You are not fighting for victory. You are fighting from victory. When you walk into difficult conversations, heaven walks in with you. When you step into new opportunities, heaven steps with you. When you stand at the edge of uncertainty, heaven stands behind you, ensuring that you will not fall. You are never outnumbered. You are never unsupported. You are never alone. The very weight you thought would break you is the weight heaven has been reinforcing you to carry. And as you step into this new season, you will feel a confidence that does not come from your own ability. It comes from knowing that heaven is invested in your destiny. You are backed by the one who created every breath you take. You are backed by the one who commands the winds and the waves. You are backed by the one who sees the end from the beginning. Heaven is backing you, and because of that, nothing formed against you will prevail. There are things that have clung to your life for far too long, weights you've carried without realizing how heavy they truly were, habits that drained your spirit, patterns that repeatedly pulled you into cycles you didn't want to revisit, attachments that limited your growth, and internal barriers that whispered lies into your identity. You've tried to move forward while dragging these things behind you, wondering why progress felt slow or inconsistent, why your steps felt heavy, why breakthroughs seemed just out of reach. But hear me now with clarity and compassion. I am removing what has been holding you back. Some of what is leaving your life may feel sudden or surprising. Some of it may feel uncomfortable or unfamiliar. But everything I am removing is something that could not go with you into the future I am preparing. There are connections I am severing because they hinder your growth. There are mindsets I am breaking because they limit your freedom. There are emotional burdens I am lifting because they were never meant to be your responsibility. There are habits I am exposing because they have been quietly stealing your strength. You are stepping into a season where heaviness will not follow you. I am dismantling the chains that kept you stuck in the same places year after year. I am identifying the roots of your struggles and pulling them out so they no longer resurface in different forms. Some of what I remove will feel like relief. Some will feel like loss. But all of it is necessary. You asked me for transformation, and transformation requires release. You asked me for purpose, and purpose requires pruning. You asked me for peace, and peace requires clearing away the noise that constantly disrupts your spirit. Do not fear what is leaving. Do not cling to what I am taking away. Do not mourn what served its season but cannot serve your future. I am creating space within you, space for joy, for clarity, for new beginnings, for divine assignments, for spiritual growth, for the fullness of who you are becoming. What once held you back will no longer have access to your spirit. What once controlled you will lose its grip. What once drained you will no longer have influence. You will feel lighter, stronger, more aligned, more aware. This removal is not punishment. It is liberation. And soon you will look back and say, I didn't realize how much was weighing me down until God took it away. Freedom is coming. In fact, it has already begun. There was a time when your faith felt fragile, like a flickering candle struggling to stay lit in the winds of fear, disappointment, and uncertainty. You doubted your strength. You doubted my nearness. You doubted whether you were capable of trusting again after everything you went through. But look at you now. Your faith is rising. Not the loud, performative kind that looks strong on the outside but shakes within, but a quiet, steady, powerful faith that grows in the depths of your spirit. Your faith is becoming your weapon. Every time you chose hope when fear seemed louder, your faith sharpened. Every time you chose to pray when you didn't see results, your faith strengthened. Every time you stood back up after being knocked down, your faith gained force. Every time you released what hurt you and reached for what healed you, your faith became more refined. This kind of faith does not develop in comfort. It forms in fire. And the fire you walked through did not destroy you. They forged you. You are beginning to carry a spiritual authority that comes from surviving what tried to break you. This authority is not loud, but it is undeniable. It is the authority of someone who has seen darkness and still chosen light. Someone who has felt pain and still chosen trust. Someone who has faced uncertainty and still believed in hope. Your faith is no longer passive. It is active. It is no longer shaky. It is steady. It is no longer weak. It is weaponized. You will use this faith to silence fear when it tries to rise. You will use this faith to close doors the enemy tries to open. You will use this faith to walk boldly into opportunities without hesitation. You will use this faith to speak life over dead situations and see resurrection come forth. You will use this faith to withstand storms that would have once overwhelmed you. You are becoming spiritually unshakable, And as your faith grows, heaven responds. Your prayers carry more authority now. Your discernment is sharper. Your boldness is stronger. Your hope is resilient. This is not the faith of someone barely holding on. This is the faith of someone stepping into destiny. Your faith is becoming your weapon, and with it you will conquer what once conquered you, overcome what once intimidated you, and rise into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. There is a part of you that has forgotten what it feels like to truly breathe, freely, lightly, without the tightness in your chest or the heaviness in your spirit. You've grown so used to surviving, enduring, managing, and pushing through that you almost forgot joy was ever meant to be part of your daily existence. But listen to me now, for this is not a distant promise or a poetic sentiment. This is a divine declaration over your life. I am restoring your joy. Not the shallow, fleeting kind that depends on circumstances working perfectly or people behaving the way you hope they will. No, I am restoring a joy that saturates your soul from the inside out. A joy that cannot be stolen, shaken, or drowned by the weight of your reality. You once knew glimpses of this joy, moments where laughter came easily and gratitude felt natural. But life, with its pressures and wounds, pressed against your heart until your joy dimmed and eventually settled into silence. You tried to force happiness at times, but it felt foreign. You tried to distract yourself, but nothing lingered. You tried to stay positive, but inside you felt depleted. That's because joy is not something you manufacture. It is something I restore. I saw the moments when sadness wrapped around you unexpectedly, moments when tears appeared without warning, moments when numbness replaced passion. I saw how you tried to stay strong for others, even while feeling empty inside. But what you thought was the end of your joy was only the pause before its resurrection. I am touching the parts of you that grief tried to paralyze. I am healing the memories that quietly drained your spirit. I am breaking the heaviness that became too familiar. And you will know my restoration because joy will begin to rise slowly at first, like dawn breaking through a long night. You'll feel it in small ways, a moment of unexpected laughter, a sudden sense of hope, a renewed excitement for something you thought you no longer cared about, a warmth in your spirit that has no earthly explanation. These are not random moments. These are signs that your joy is returning. As I restore joy within you, you will notice that your perspective shifts. Problems that once overwhelmed you will not carry the same power. Fears that once consumed you will lose their grip. Exhaustion will give way to renewed strength. Joy will not only return, it will overflow. It will become your strength, your stability, your resilience. Joy will become a weapon against despair, a light in dark places, a reminder that heaven is alive within you. And you will soon realize, joy was never gone. It was simply waiting for my healing touch. And now, my child, I am restoring it fully, deeply, beautifully. You have spent much of your life wondering why certain desires pulse within you, why specific burdens rest heavily on your heart, why some passions refuse to fade while others dissolve with time. You've questioned your place, your role, your impact, and the meaning behind the experiences you survived. You've wondered if you missed your purpose, if it passed you by unnoticed, or if you somehow disqualified yourself through mistakes, missteps, or seasons of confusion. But let me tell you something that will bring peace to your restless questions. Your purpose will become clear. You were not created by accident. I crafted you with intention, with precision, with a destiny that threads through every season of your life, even the ones you thought were wasted. I know you've tried to make sense of your journey, piecing together the highs and lows, searching for meaning beneath the surface. What you could not see is that purpose has been forming inside you the entire time. The heartbreak you endured cultivated compassion. The struggles you survived sharpened your resilience. The disappointments you faced awakened your discernment. The delays you walked through strengthened your trust. Every experience, joyful or painful, has shaped you into someone capable of carrying a calling larger than what you once imagined. Purpose does not always reveal itself suddenly. It unfolds. It unveils itself layer by layer, awakening in you through moments of clarity, divine connections, spiritual nudges, and doors that open exactly when they should. You will begin to notice this unfolding more clearly soon. The things that once confused you will begin to make sense. The path that once felt foggy will begin to light up. The passions that never left you will grow stronger. The dreams you dismissed will begin to resurface. And the gifts I placed within you will start to stir in ways you can no longer ignore. Do not fear missing your purpose. What I ordained for you cannot be lost. What I placed in you cannot be stolen. What I destined for your life will meet you as you continue walking with me. Purpose is not something you chase. It is something you grow into. It becomes clearer as your spirit awakens, as your heart heals, as your mind becomes renewed, and as your trust deepens. You will know it because it will bring peace, alignment, excitement, and a sense of this is what I was created for. Your purpose is not behind you. It is before you. And heaven is committed to revealing it at the perfect time. There have been countless moments where fear gripped your heart so tightly that you felt paralyzed, hesitant to make decisions, afraid to step into new opportunities, anxious about outcomes you couldn't control, and wary of repeating mistakes you once made. Fear has whispered to you in the dark, convincing you to stay small, stay silent, stay safe, stay hidden. It tried to choke the dreams I planted in you. It tried to suffocate the courage rising in you. It tried to convince you that you were unworthy, unprepared, or incapable. But hear this truth as it echoes through your spirit. I am replacing fear with boldness. Not a reckless boldness rooted in pride or ego, but a holy boldness, one grounded in identity, strengthened by faith, and ignited by purpose. I am touching the very places where fear once built its fortress. I am dismantling the lies that fear used to control your decisions. I am healing the wounds that made you afraid to try again. And as I remove fear, boldness will rise, not as a feeling but as a force. You will begin to speak with confidence where you once hesitated. You will move forward with courage where you once held back. You will pursue opportunities that once intimidated you. You will make decisions with clarity, not anxiety. You will walk into rooms with a sense of belonging, not insecurity. You will stand strong in moments that previously overwhelmed you. This boldness will not be something you muster. It will be something I place within you as fear loses its hold. You will notice the shift. Fear will no longer feel like a wall. It will feel like a weakened shadow. The voices that once intimidated you will lose power. The what-ifs that haunted you will fade. The scenarios that replayed in your mind will lose their influence. Your heart will beat with renewed confidence. Your steps will feel guided, not hesitant. Your voice will feel stronger, not silence. Boldness is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of divine courage that overrides it. And that courage is being poured into you even now. You will rise not because you force yourself to be brave, but because fear will no longer have permission to control you. I am replacing it with boldness, unshakable, undeniable, heaven-sent boldness. And with that boldness, you will step boldly into the future I have prepared for you. There are doors forming in the unseen right now, doors you don't yet know exist, doors your mind has not imagined, doors your past cannot disqualify you from, and doors your present cannot block. You have felt a quiet stirring inside you, a subtle anticipation that you couldn't quite explain, as though something beyond your sight was shifting. That stirring is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual preparation. Heaven is preparing opportunities for you. You have walked through seasons where it felt like everything was stagnant, where nothing moved forward, where your efforts produced little visible progress, where you felt overlooked, underestimated, or forgotten. But what you didn't realize was that I was working behind the scenes, aligning people, timing, resources, and circumstances in ways you could never coordinate on your own. Opportunities from heaven are not random. They are orchestrated. They arrive exactly when your character is ready, when your heart is healed enough to handle them, when your faith is strong enough to sustain them, and when your spirit is mature enough not to sabotage them. There are opportunities that were withheld from you in previous seasons not because you weren't worthy, but because they weren't aligned with your destiny yet. There are opportunities you prayed for that didn't come, not because I said no, but because I said not yet. And now, as your spirit awakens and your identity strengthens, you are entering a season of divine alignment. Opportunities will begin to appear suddenly. Unexpected phone calls, open doors, divine connections, moments where everything seems to fall into place effortlessly. These won't be coincidences, they will be confirmations. The heaviness that once held you back is lifting, making space for what I'm bringing into your life. I am preparing opportunities that will stretch you, elevate you, and position you for greater purpose. Some opportunities will challenge you to step outside your comfort zone. Others will feel like home, as though they were designed precisely for you, because they were. Trust my timing. Trust my preparation. Trust the process that felt slow, painful, and confusing at times. Nothing was wasted. Every delay was alignment. Every setback was redirection. Every closed door was protection. And now, every open door will be invitation. Heaven is preparing opportunities for you. Not temporary opportunities, but destiny-shifting ones. You will see them, you will recognize them, and you will be ready for them when they arrive. There is a shift coming that will happen faster than you expect, in a moment that feels ordinary, in a place that feels familiar, in a time when you have finally stopped trying to force anything, and suddenly, breakthrough will meet you. You have walked through long stretches of waiting, battling, enduring, praying, and believing, yet feeling as though very little was changing. You wondered if your breakthrough had been delayed indefinitely, if something had gone wrong, if you misheard me, or if heaven had grown silent. But breakthroughs are not built in the visible. They are constructed in the unseen, in the quiet movements of my hand, in the subtle alignments of people and circumstances. And when the appointed moment comes, breakthrough does not drip, it floods. Breakthroughs often appear sudden to you, but they are never sudden to me. I have been preparing you, strengthening you, healing you, shaping your character, and positioning you for what is about to unfold. You have felt pressure intensify recently, not to break you but to signal that you are close. Pressure precedes breakthrough. Resistance precedes release. Warfare precedes victory. You will look back and realize that the things that once felt impossible shifted in a moment. The burden that weighed on your chest for years will lift. The answer you prayed for will arrive. The clarity you sought will break through. The opportunity you longed for will manifest. The chains that held you mentally, emotionally, or spiritually will snap. The cycle that repeated for years will stop. And people will look at your life and say, "How did everything change so fast?" But you will know the truth. It did happen fast. It happened right on time. You suffered long, waited long, trusted long. And I am faithful to those who endure. When breakthrough comes, it will come in a way that confirms it was never the result of your striving. It was the result of my promise. I will do in moments what would have taken years if left in your hands. Your breakthrough will be sudden, not because you are lucky, but because you are aligned. And the suddenness of it will be the signature of heaven. There was a time when Scripture felt alive to you. Verses seemed to leap off the page. Passages felt like direct messages to your heart. And my voice echoed through the words in ways that were unmistakable. But somewhere along the journey, that connection dimmed. You tried to read but felt numb. You tried to listen but felt distracted. You tried to seek but felt disconnected. And you wondered if something was wrong with you spiritually, if you had drifted too far, if you had somehow muted my voice. But hear me clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. You were simply walking through a season where your heart was being prepared for deeper understanding. And now, in this new season of awakening, I am speaking through my word again. You will begin to notice it. Verses you've read for years will suddenly illuminate with new meaning. Scriptures you once glossed over will speak directly into your situations. Words you barely noticed before will feel like living truth burning inside your spirit. My word is not static. It is alive. It breathes. It moves. It reveals. And when your heart is ready, my word becomes a mirror, a sword, a lamp, a compass, a healing balm, and a quiet whisper all at once. I am removing the veil from your understanding. You will no longer read out of obligation but out of hunger. You will no longer skim for information, but seek revelation. You will no longer approach my word as something distant but as a conversation between heaven and your spirit. And as you read, I will speak, not vaguely, not cryptically, but clearly. I will give you answers you have been praying for. I will confirm the direction of your next steps. I will expose lies you believed for too long. I will comfort the wounds you tried to hide. I will strengthen the parts of you that felt weak. My word will be the anchor you stand on and the sword you fight with. It will become nourishment to your soul, clarity to your mind, and fire to your purpose. This is the season where Scripture becomes personal again, not a book, but a voice. My voice. And as you listen, you will realize that I never stopped speaking. You simply needed your heart restored so you could hear me clearly again. There are memories within you that still ache, moments that rise unexpectedly and grip your chest, wounds you thought time would erase but instead settled deep in the layers of your heart. You've tried to move on. You've tried to forget. You've tried to bury what hurt you because facing it felt too painful, too overwhelming, too messy. But my child, hear me clearly. I am healing your past, not covering it, not ignoring it, not numbing it, healing it. The broken moments that shaped the way you see yourself, the disappointments that dimmed your hope, the betrayals that stole your trust, the failures that made you feel unworthy, none of them are too deep for my touch. You have lived with unspoken pain, with memories you quietly carried while trying to appear strong. Sometimes you felt embarrassed for still hurting. Sometimes you felt angry at yourself for not healing faster. Sometimes you felt frustrated that certain moments still echoed inside you after all these years. But what you didn't realize is that healing is not a weakness. It is a divine process. And that process is unfolding now, beautifully, powerfully, tenderly. I am going back into the places where your heart broke and rewriting the impact of those moments. I am touching the child in you who learned to fear abandonment. I am touching the teenager in you who felt unseen and unheard. I am touching the adult in you who carried responsibilities without support. I am touching every version of you that lived through pain you didn't deserve. My healing is not partial, it is complete. I am healing the way you think about what happened. I am healing the way you talk to yourself. I am healing the hidden beliefs that quietly shaped your choices. I am healing the bitterness you never wanted but didn't know how to release. I am healing the shame that never belonged to you in the first place. And I am doing it gently. I will not rush you. I will not force you. I will not shame you for needing time. Healing is not forgetting. Healing is remembering without reliving. Healing is looking back without breaking. Healing is standing in the present without being tethered to what wounded you. And soon, you will see that your past no longer has power over your future. The memories that once hurt you will become testimonies of my faithfulness. The wounds that once defined you will become evidence of my restoration. You are not trapped in your history. You are being healed from it, and heaven is doing the work that your heart has longed for but didn't know how to begin. There are moments when obedience feels like surrendering the last piece of control you have. Moments when it feels like stepping into the unknown without a map. Moments when it feels costly, uncomfortable, or even risky. You've wrestled with this, wondering if following my lead would require you to give up too much, wondering if obedience would leave you empty-handed, wondering if listening to my voice would cause you to miss out on something the world told you to chase. But I want you to hear something your spirit has been ready to receive. Your obedience will open windows of heaven. Not small cracks, not trickles, not occasional blessings, but windows. Wide, overflowing, unstoppable streams of provision, peace, opportunity, and guidance that only open when your heart is aligned with mine. Obedience isn't punishment, it's positioning. It positions you under the flow of everything I've prepared for you. When you obey, you place yourself in the exact spot where my blessings can reach you without interference. You have already begun to notice this. How clarity comes when you follow my nudges. How peace settles in when you release what I ask you to release. How doors open when you say yes to what doesn't always make sense in the moment. You think your small acts of obedience go unnoticed. But in heaven nothing is small. Every step you take in faith shifts something in the spiritual realm. Every act of surrender breaks something that once held you back. Every yes creates space for my power to work freely in your life. You've been afraid obedience would cost you too much, but the truth is this obedience costs more. It drains your peace. It confuses your path. It prolongs your journey. Obedience does the opposite. It accelerates, aligns, and unlocks. You will see this unfold soon. The things you have prayed for, waited for, and hoped for will begin to flow into your life not because you worked harder, but because you trusted deeper. When you choose obedience, heaven responds. I will guide your steps. I will protect your path. I will multiply what you offer me. I will exceed what you release. I will meet you with blessings that outweigh your sacrifice. The windows of heaven are not symbolic. They are real. And they are opening over your life because your heart is becoming willing. Your obedience is not losing. It is unlocking. And what is coming next will show you that no act of surrender goes unrewarded in my kingdom. There have been questions tucked deep inside your heart. Questions you carried silently because you didn't have the language to express them, or the courage to ask them, or the clarity to even fully understand them. You've wondered why certain things happened. You've wondered why some people entered your life while others left. You've wondered why specific doors opened effortlessly while others refused to budge. You've wondered why patterns repeated, why certain wounds lingered, why you felt drawn to some things and repelled by others. So many mysteries, so many unspoken questions, so many layers of your journey left unexplained. But listen closely. I am revealing hidden things. This is the season where what was concealed will be unveiled. I am pulling back the curtain on truths you were not ready to see before. Some revelations will bring healing. Some will bring closure. Some will bring clarity. Some will bring direction. Some will bring understanding about who you are, and who you are becoming. I am revealing the motives behind certain relationships, why they entered your life and why they ended. I am revealing the purpose behind certain delays, why things took longer than you wanted, and what those delays protected you from. I am revealing the patterns in your life that originated from wounds you never identified. I am revealing gifts inside you that you didn't even know existed. I am revealing strength you developed in seasons where you felt weak. I am revealing connections between moments you thought were random but were actually divinely orchestrated. This unveiling may feel overwhelming at first because clarity always shifts your perspective. But clarity is a blessing, not a burden. You will begin to see your life with new eyes. Regret will be replaced with understanding. Confusion will be replaced with revelation. Fear will be replaced with wisdom. You'll see that nothing was wasted, not the pain, not the joy, not the silence, not the waiting. Everything had a purpose, even when you didn't understand it. And now, you are ready. Ready to see truth. Ready to walk in awareness. Ready to rise into deeper discernment. I am not revealing hidden things to expose you. I am revealing them to elevate you. This is your season of revelation, and with every truth I uncover, you will step into greater alignment with who you were created to be. There is a sensitivity awakening inside you, a deep, intuitive awareness that you can't fully explain with logic, but you feel it stirring in your soul like a quiet knowing. You're beginning to notice things differently. You're sensing shifts before they occur. You're feeling nudges, whispers, moments of conviction, and sudden clarity in places where confusion once lived. This is not random emotion, not imagination, not coincidence. This is your spirit beginning to recognize my movements. For a long time, my leading was present, but your heart was too weighed down by fear, noise, or survival to discern it clearly. But as your spirit has awakened and your heart has softened, you are stepping into a level of spiritual awareness you've never accessed before. You'll begin to notice alignment where there was once uncertainty. You'll sense peace directing your steps. You'll feel caution rising in moments where danger is hidden beneath the surface. You'll recognize when something is from me, and when it is not. This recognition will not be forced. It will feel natural, effortless, almost familiar, because my voice has always been familiar to you, even when life made you forget its tone. You will start to feel my movements the way you feel a change in the air before a storm or the warmth of the sun before it breaks through the clouds. You will notice divine timing orchestrating events with precision. You will sense when I am opening a door even before you see it physically. You will sense when I am closing a door even before circumstances reveal the reason. You will feel it when I shift you away from people who no longer align with your destiny, and you will feel it when I draw you toward those who are part of your next chapter. You will feel me in conversations that strike your spirit, in coincidences that are too exact to be accidents, in inner comfort that comes out of nowhere, and in convictions that redirect your heart before mistakes become consequences. Your spirit will begin to respond, not with anxiety, but with trust. Not with hesitation, but with peace. Not with confusion, but with clarity that surpasses understanding. This is what it means to grow spiritually. Your spirit becomes attuned to my movements in the same way a child recognizes the footsteps of a loving parent. You will know when I am guiding you because it will carry my signature: peace, wisdom, alignment, conviction, and love. You will no longer second-guess every decision or doubt every direction. Your spirit will know. And as you learn to respond to these subtle divine movements, you will walk with confidence, not because the path is predictable, but because my presence is unmistakable. You have walked through seasons where relationships felt unstable, unpredictable, or draining, Seasons where you wondered if there were people in this world who could truly understand your heart, support your calling, or stand with you without conditions. You've experienced betrayal, abandonment, disappointment, and relational imbalance that left wounds you carried quietly. But hear me clearly. I am bringing divine connections into your life. Not just friends, not just acquaintances, not just temporary companions. Divinely assigned people who are connected to your purpose, your healing, your growth, and your destiny. These are people who will not compete with you but complement you. People who will not drain you but pour into you. People who will not pull you backward but help you rise. People whose spirit recognizes your spirit, whose purpose aligns with your purpose, whose presence brings peace rather than confusion. You will not have to chase them, convince them, or shrink yourself to keep them. Divine connections are drawn by purpose, not pressure. You've had relationships removed from your life because they could not walk with you into the season you are entering. That loss hurt you deeply, but it created room for what I am bringing now. Divine connections carry my fingerprints. They show up at the perfect time, often unexpectedly, often in ways that make you realize I was listening to prayers you never said out loud. These people will speak life where others spoke doubt. They will encourage you where others dismissed you. They will stand with you in moments when you feel weak. They will challenge the parts of you that need growth and celebrate the parts of you that need expression. They won't just connect with your personality. They will connect with your calling. And you will know them not by how loud they are, but by how peaceful they feel. Not by how impressive they appear, but by how aligned your spirits are. Not by what they take, but by what they bring. I am bringing relationships that sharpen you, uplift you, and anchor you. Relationships that remind you of who you are. Relationships that pull you closer to me. Relationships that will help you carry the weight of your assignment. You were never meant to walk alone. And now, heaven is sending the people who will walk with you into your next chapter. There are cycles that have followed you for years, patterns you tried to break but kept repeating, habits that drained your strength, emotional triggers that sent you spiraling, thoughts that sabotage your progress, inner battles that made you feel stuck in a loop you couldn't escape. You blamed yourself, thinking you lacked discipline, willpower, or spiritual strength. But hear me with the compassion of a father and the authority of heaven. I am separating you from destructive patterns. These patterns were never your identity. They were wounds in disguise, survival mechanisms that overstayed their season, lies that became habits, habits that became strongholds, strongholds that became prisons. You fought these patterns with all you had, but some chains cannot be broken by effort alone. They require deliverance, revelation, and divine intervention. And that is what I am doing now. I am reaching into the root of the pattern, not just the fruit. I am healing the trigger, not just the behavior. I am renewing your mind where lies once lived. I am breaking generational cycles that tried to claim you. I am exposing the spiritual forces that hid beneath emotional struggles. I am untangling the knots that tied your identity to dysfunction. Your separation may feel uncomfortable at first. Patterns you once found comfort in will lose their appeal. Habits you used for coping will suddenly feel heavy. Situations you tolerated will no longer sit right in your spirit. What once felt normal will begin to feel wrong, not because you're failing, but because you're transforming. I am reconditioning your heart. I am reprogramming your thoughts. I am resetting your appetite for what is holy, healthy, and aligned with your destiny. And the patterns that once trapped you will begin to fall away, not through force, but through freedom. You will wake up one day and realize, this no longer controls me. This no longer attracts me. This no longer defines me. This no longer owns me. This is not behavior modification. This is spiritual liberation. I am separating you from destructive patterns so you can walk freely into the calling I placed on your life. And as these patterns break, you will discover a version of yourself that you always sensed but never fully experienced. Free, whole, clear-minded, unbound, and aligned with heaven's rhythm. There are moments when silence feels heavy, when the absence of clear answers makes your heart uneasy, when waiting stretches your faith, when nothing seems to move and you wonder if I have stepped away. You've had nights where you questioned whether the silence meant I was distant, displeased, or uninterested in what you're facing. But hear me with the deepest tenderness. I am strengthening you in the silent places. Silence is not abandonment. It is preparation. When I am quiet, I am working in depths you cannot yet see. I am building endurance in you, fortifying your inner world, shaping your character, and teaching you how to trust my heart even when my hand seems still. You learn me more deeply in silence than in noise, and you grow in ways that cannot happen when every answer comes immediately. In the silence, I refine your hearing so my voice becomes unmistakable. In the silence, I deepen your roots so winds cannot uproot you. In the silence, I strengthen your faith so fear no longer dictates your decisions. In the silence, I heal what busyness would only bury. And although silence feels like nothing is changing, everything is actually shifting. Within you, round you, and ahead of you. The strength you are gaining in this quiet season will become the foundation for the next chapter of your life. You will soon walk into environments that would have shaken the old you, but the strengthened you, formed in silence, will stand firm. Do not despise this silence. It is holy ground. It is where courage grows. It is where identity becomes clear. It is where faith becomes mature. And though you cannot yet trace my movements, you will soon see the fruit of what I have been building inside you. The silence is not your enemy. It is your becoming. You have spent so much of your life navigating stress, pressure, urgency, and constant mental battles that peace has often felt like a rare moment instead of a daily reality. You've been alert for danger, prepared for disappointment, and braced for impact in ways that exhausted your spirit. Even when things were calm externally, your mind stayed on guard, waiting for the next problem to appear. But I am changing that. I am teaching you how to walk in peace, not momentary peace, not conditional peace, not fragile peace, but a peace that becomes the atmosphere of your life. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of my steadiness within you. Peace is not passive. It is powerful. It silences fear. It disrupts anxiety. It anchors your emotions. It guards your heart. You will begin to notice that things that once overwhelmed you will no longer shake you. Situations that once triggered panic will now meet a calm that surprises even you. The future will no longer feel like something you must fear. It will feel like something you can trust. I am teaching you to breathe again. Slowly, deeply, fully. I am teaching you to respond instead of react. I am teaching you to live from a centered place where my presence becomes your baseline. This peace will not come from perfect circumstances. It will come from an inner confidence that I am with you, for you, and leading you. You will sense it in moments where you used to unravel. You will feel it in conversations that once stressed you. You will notice it when unexpected changes come, yet your heart remains steady. This peace is not temporary. It is transformation. It is me rewiring your internal world to match my calm instead of your chaos. And as you walk in this peace, your life will change. Your decisions will become clearer. Your relationships will become healthier. Your mind will experience rest. Your spirit will feel grounded. You will stop living in survival mode and begin living in spiritual stability. This peace will become your weapon, your anchor, and your home. There is a stirring within you that you can no longer ignore, a sense that something bigger, deeper, and more meaningful is rising inside your spirit. You felt glimpses of this calling before, moments where your heart felt strangely alive, moments where your passion strengthened without explanation, moments where you felt a pull toward something beyond routine, beyond comfort, beyond the familiar. What you feel is not random. I am awakening your calling. For years, your gifts have been growing quietly in the background, shaped by your experiences, strengthened through your struggles, purified by your pain, and matured by time. The experiences that broke you taught you compassion. The seasons that confused you taught you discernment. The battles that wearied you taught you resilience. The prayers you whispered in the dark taught you intimacy with me. All of it has been preparing you for this awakening. Your calling is not something you choose, it is something you uncover. It has always been within you, waiting for the moment when your spirit would be ready to carry its weight. And now, the time has come. You will begin to feel clarity where you once felt lost. You will feel passion where you once felt numb. You will feel purpose rising beneath your ribs. Your desires will shift. Your interests will expand. Your courage will increase. And circumstances will begin to rearrange themselves around the path I am calling you toward. I will speak through ideas that won't go away. I will speak through opportunities that align with your gifts. I will speak through desires that suddenly intensify. I will speak through confirmation after confirmation until you know, deep in your spirit, that you were created for this. Do not fear this awakening. Do not shrink back. Do not question whether you're qualified. I do not call the prepared, I prepare the called. And I am preparing you now. Your calling is awakening, and soon you will step into the very purpose heaven crafted your soul to fulfill. There are chapters in your life that have lingered longer than they should have, chapters marked by unanswered questions, unresolved emotions, unfinished healing, and memories that echo louder than you ever wanted them to. You've carried pieces of these chapters like loose pages, trying to move forward while parts of your heart were still holding on, still wondering, still hurting. But listen to me with a calm that settles over your spirit. I am bringing closure to old chapters. Not closure that comes through forgetting, but closure that comes through understanding. Not closure that erases the past, but closure that removes its power to shape your future. I am sealing wounds that have remained open for years. I am ending cycles that drained you repeatedly. I am closing doors that were never meant to stay open. I am pulling you out of emotional loops that once trapped you. This closure will not be painful. It will be freeing. You will feel this shift inside you. Situations that once triggered deep reactions will suddenly lose their grip. People who once had power over your emotions will no longer influence you. Memories that once hurt will pass through your mind without reopening old pain. The places in your heart that once felt raw will become healed, stable, and whole. This is not you becoming numb. This is you being restored. I am ending chapters that were no longer serving you, but I am doing it in a way that leaves you stronger, not bitter. You will no longer question why certain things happen. You will understand. You will no longer cling to what left. You will release. You will no longer replay the moments that wounded you. You will rise above them. With closure comes clarity, and with clarity comes peace. You will know this closure has arrived when you feel yourself exhaling what you didn't even realize you were holding. When you feel your spirit lighter. When you notice you're no longer living in the emotional shadows of what once was. I am closing these chapters not to erase your story, but to prepare you for the new pages that are waiting to be written. The past will no longer follow you into the future I am preparing. I am closing it, completely, gently, finally. You have been seeing your life through a limited lens, a lens shaped by past wounds, old fears, human limitations, and earthly logic. You've been trying to make sense of your journey from ground level, looking at events one by one, feeling overwhelmed by the details that seem disjointed, confusing, or unfair. But I am lifting you higher. I am elevating your perspective so you can see your life the way I see it. When you rise above the noise, everything changes. What once looked like chaos begins to reveal order. What once looked like delay begins to reveal timing. What once looked like separation begins to reveal protection. What once looked like loss begins to reveal redirection. I am showing you the bigger picture, the one you could never see while standing in the middle of the storm. I am shifting your perspective so you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What is this preparing me for?" I am showing you that the battles you fought were building stamina. The tears you shed were watering seeds. The relationships that ended were making space for alignment. The uncertainties you faced were strengthening your faith. You will begin to see that nothing in your life has been random. Every experience, every emotion, every encounter had been part of a divine tapestry woven with intention, precision, and love. And as your perspective elevates, fear will loosen its grip. Anxiety will quiet. Doubt will fade. When you see from above, you stop panicking over what you cannot control and begin trusting the one who controls everything. You will stop seeing obstacles as threats and begin seeing them as opportunities for growth. You will stop criticizing yourself for not having all the answers because you will finally understand that answers are not where faith begins. Trust is. This elevated perspective will bring peace to your decisions, wisdom to your choices, stability to your emotions, and depth to your purpose. You are rising above the confusion now, and as you do, you will see clearly. Your journey has been guided all along. There is more inside you than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. More strength, more potential, more resilience, more wisdom, more spiritual depth, more creativity, more purpose. You've lived within the limits of past experiences, within the boundaries of old insecurities, within the expectations of people who never saw the fullness of what I placed in you. But I am expanding your capacity. You will no longer think small, feel small, dream small, your life small. I am stretching you, not to break you, but to prepare you. You are being enlarged internally so you can carry the blessings, responsibilities, opportunities, and callings I am bringing into your life. Expansion often feels uncomfortable at first. You feel emotions rising that you don't fully understand. You sense desires waking up that once felt dormant. You feel pushed to grow in areas where you once preferred to stay quiet or hidden. You notice old comfort zones shrinking, old excuses losing power, and old limitations falling away. This is not pressure, it is preparation. I am removing the ceilings you placed over yourself. I am breaking the walls you built around your potential. I am stretching your faith so you can trust me with more. I am stretching your vision so you can see farther. I am stretching your character so you can withstand what is coming. You will find yourself handling things you once thought were too heavy. You will find yourself stepping confidently into roles you once felt unqualified for. You will find yourself speaking boldly where you once hesitated. You will find yourself thriving in places where you once merely survived. Expansion is not about doing more. It is about becoming more. And you are becoming. This expansion will touch every part of your life. Your relationships, your mindset, your spiritual sensitivity, your emotional strength, your leadership, your influence, your purpose. You are not overwhelmed. You are being enlarged. Heaven is stretching you so earth can receive the gift of who you truly are. There comes a point in your journey where your emotions feel like shifting tides, rising high one moment, crashing low the next. unpredictable, overwhelming, and often misunderstood even by you. You've wondered why some days you feel strong and clear, while others leave you tired, sensitive, or easily shaken. You've blamed yourself, thinking something was wrong with you for feeling things so deeply or reacting so intensely. But hear my voice wrap around your heart like steady hands. I am stabilizing your emotions, not suppressing them, not hardening you, not numbing you, stabilizing you. I created your ability to feel. Your emotions are not your enemy. They are indicators, messengers, reflections of your inner world. But when they become louder than truth, heavier than peace, and more powerful than wisdom, they exhaust you and distort your perception. I am bringing balance where there has been imbalance, calm where there has been inner turbulence, grounding where there has been instability. You will feel this shift gradually, like a steadying of your inner atmosphere. Where anxiety once escalated quickly, peace will intervene. Where sadness once lingered longer than necessary, comfort will arrive sooner. Where anger once felt uncontrollable, clarity will soften it. Where overthinking once spiraled, discernment will now anchor you. This is not about feeling less. It is about feeling aligned. I am healing the root of emotional turmoil. The old wounds, unspoken fears, unmet needs, and internal narratives that shaped your responses. I am teaching you how to pause before reacting, how to breathe before breaking, how to listen to your emotions without letting them lead you into chaos. As your emotions stabilize, relationships will feel easier. Decisions will feel clearer. Your sense of self will feel stronger. You will no longer see emotions as waves that drown you, but waves that guide you, because now, I am the one calming the waters inside you. And you will know this transformation is real when you notice your reaction shifting gracefully, almost effortlessly, into responses rooted in peace. You have felt a strange tension inside you, a sense that something bigger is coming, even if you can't see it yet. Part of you feels anticipation, excitement, expectancy. Another part feels unprepared, unqualified, unsure. But listen, the tension is the stretching of your spirit, because I am preparing you for enlargement. The life you're stepping into requires more capacity, more strength, more maturity, more discipline, more faith, and more focus than the life you've lived up to this point. And I am expanding you from the inside out. You may feel it as restlessness, as hunger for more, as dissatisfaction with old patterns, as the sudden desire for growth, as the urge to break free from limitations that once felt comfortable. This is the internal stretching, the holy discomfort that comes before divine expansion. Enlargement requires intentional preparation. I am strengthening your spirit so pressure does not crush you. I am deepening your wisdom so influence doesn't overwhelm you. I am refining your character so opportunities don't expose unhealed wounds. I am aligning your desires with heaven so when I place more in your hands, it does not distract you from your purpose but propels you into it. Enlargement is not about doing more. It is about carrying more. The weight of destiny requires depth, stability, clarity, and spiritual maturity. So if you feel stretched, it is because I am enlarging your capacity for blessing, not because something is wrong with you. Soon you will find yourself able to handle responsibilities that once intimidated you. You will notice your voice growing stronger, your vision expanding, your courage increasing. You will feel prepared for opportunities that once felt impossible. You are being shaped for influence, for impact, for assignment. Nothing about this is accidental. Heaven is preparing you for enlargement, and you will fit the place I am leading you into. There have been moments where life took sudden turns, unexpected shifts, closed doors, abrupt endings, confusing transitions that made you question everything. You wondered why things didn't work out the way you thought they would, why certain plans unraveled, why people changed course, why opportunities slip away. You felt lost at times, thinking you had made wrong decisions or missed divine timing. But let me reveal the truth beneath every redirection. I am redirecting your paths with purpose. Every time you were moved out of a situation, it was protection. Every time a desire faded, it was alignment. Every time something ended, it was preparation for something greater. You were not wandering, you were being led. But because you couldn't see the destination, you mistook my guidance for instability. Redirection is not rejection, it is routing. And I only reroute when the original road cannot take you to the promise I've prepared. You have outgrown certain places, and I shifted you. You've been misaligned with certain people, and I separated you. You've been tied to plans that were too small, and I disrupted them. You've prayed for purpose, but purpose rarely unfolds in straight lines, it unfolds in divine turns. And each turn brings you closer to the version of you that can carry the destiny ordained for your life. You will soon look back and realize every detour was strategic. Every closed door was mercy. Every disappointment was direction. You have not been drifting. You have been guided step by step, moment by moment, breath by breath. And now, your paths are aligning more clearly than ever before. You will feel certainty where you once felt confusion, confidence where you once felt hesitation, and peace where you once felt unrest. The path you're stepping into is purposeful, prepared, and perfectly timed. Heaven is not just guiding you, it is redirecting you into destiny. There is a transformation happening inside you so quietly, so steadily, that you may not even recognize the magnitude of it yet. But heaven sees it clearly. You have carried versions of yourself that were shaped by pain, shaped by criticism, shaped by trauma, shaped by mistakes, shaped by misunderstandings, shaped by seasons where you survived instead of flourished. Those old versions spoke lies into your identity, whispering that you were not enough, that you were too broken, too flawed, too late, too far behind, too damaged, too inconsistent to ever rise into the fullness of who you were created to be. But listen to me with the authority that created your soul and the tenderness that has held it through every storm. I am rewriting the way you see yourself. You have looked at yourself through the lens of your past, but I am giving you new eyes, eyes that see worth where you once saw weakness, purpose where you once saw pain, potential where you once saw failure. I am removing the distorted mirrors that reflected back a damaged version of who you are. I am silencing the inner critic that echoed the voices of those who did not understand your heart. I am healing the internal wounds that made you shrink, hide, or apologize for your own existence. I am rewriting your self-perception so that you see yourself the way heaven has always seen you, chosen, capable, beloved, anointed, intentional, and strong. As this writing unfolds, you will notice the shift. You will no longer tolerate what diminishes you. You will no longer speak to yourself in the language of shame. You will no longer agree with lies that were never meant to shape your identity. You will stop comparing your journey to others because your eyes will finally be fixed on the purpose woven uniquely into you. You will begin to embrace the truth that you were created with precision, designed with purpose, and crafted with divine intention. You will begin to see your strengths clearly, your gifts boldly, your value confidently. The way you think about yourself will rise into alignment with the destiny that has been waiting for you to mature into it. And when the way you see yourself changes, everything changes: your decisions, your relationships, your boundaries, your voice, your courage, your expectations. I am not asking you to become someone new. I am revealing who you've always been beneath the layers of hurt. I am rewriting your identity because your next season requires the truest version of you, and heaven is making sure you see them. There is a heaviness you've been carrying, a quiet exhaustion that lingers even after rest, a spiritual tiredness that sleep cannot erase. You've pushed through for so long, showing up, staying strong, managing responsibilities, surviving storms, fighting battles no one else knew you were in, that weariness settled into your bones like a weight you couldn't shake. You got tired of being tired, tired of trying, tired of hoping, tired of pretending you were okay. But hear me now, with a strength that cuts through every layer of fatigue. I am breaking the power of weariness over you, not easing it, not reducing it, breaking it. The heaviness that made your spirit feel slow, the fog that made your mind feel dull, the emotional fatigue that made your heart feel weak. None of it is permanent. I have seen the tears you cried quietly, the mornings where you struggled to rise, the moments where your smile felt forced, the days where you functioned on empty, and still you pressed on. You didn't realize that your endurance was seen by heaven, honored by heaven, and now is being rewarded by heaven. I am lifting weariness off you in layers, lifting it from your mind so you can think clearly, lifting it from your heart so you can feel deeply again, lifting it from your spirit so you can rise without heaviness. The weight you've carried is breaking. You will feel energy returning to you, slowly at first, then suddenly. You will feel strength returning to you, internal strength, emotional strength, spiritual strength. You will wake up one morning and realize the heaviness is gone. Your soul will breathe again. Your mind will relax again. Your heart will soften again. Your spirit will rise again. Weariness has tried to silence your calling, dim your passion, dull your hope, but I am reversing every effect it had on you. You will move forward with renewed vitality and purpose. You will not live tired anymore. You are entering a season of rest, not the kind the world gives, but the kind I give. Rest that restores, rest that rebuilds, rest that refreshes. I am breaking weariness from its root so you can walk freely into what comes next without dragging the fatigue of your past seasons behind you. There is a transformation happening inside you so quietly, so steadily, that you may not even recognize the magnitude of it yet, but heaven sees it clearly. You have carried versions of yourself that were shaped by pain, shaped by criticism, shaped by trauma, shaped by mistakes, shaped by misunderstandings, shaped by seasons where you survived instead of flourished. Those old versions spoke lies into your identity, whispering that you were not enough, that you were too broken, too flawed, too late, too far behind, too damaged, too inconsistent to ever rise into the fullness of who you were created to be. But listen to me with the authority that created your soul and the tenderness that has held it through every storm. I am rewriting the way you see yourself. You have looked at yourself through the lens of your past, but I am giving you new eyes, eyes that see worth where you once saw weakness, purpose where you once saw pain, potential where you once saw failure. I am removing the distorted mirrors that reflected back a damaged version of who you are. I am silencing the inner critic that echoed the voices of those who did not understand your heart. I am healing the internal wounds that made you shrink, hide, or apologize for your own existence. I am rewriting your self-perception so that you see yourself the way heaven has always seen you, chosen, capable, beloved, anointed, intentional, and strong. As this writing unfolds, you will notice the shift. You will no longer tolerate what diminishes you. You will no longer speak to yourself in the language of shame. You will no longer agree with lies that were never meant to shape your identity. You will stop comparing your journey to others because your eyes will finally be fixed on the purpose woven uniquely into you. You will begin to embrace the truth that you were created with precision, designed with purpose, and crafted with divine intention. You will begin to see your strengths clearly, your gifts boldly, your value confidently. The way you think about yourself will rise into alignment with the destiny that has been waiting for you to mature into it. And when the way you see yourself changes, everything changes: your decisions, your relationships, your boundaries, your voice, your courage, your expectations. I am not asking you to become someone new. I am revealing who you've always been beneath the layers of hurt. I am rewriting your identity because your next season requires the truest version of you, and heaven is making sure you see them. There is a heaviness you've been carrying, a quiet exhaustion that lingers even after rest, a spiritual tiredness that sleep cannot erase. You've pushed through for so long, showing up, staying strong, managing responsibilities, surviving storms, fighting battles no one else knew you were in. That weariness settled into your bones like a weight you couldn't shake. You got tired of being tired, tired of trying, tired of hoping, tired of pretending you were okay. But hear me now, with a strength that cuts through every layer of fatigue. I am breaking the power of weariness over you. Not easing it, not reducing it, breaking it. The heaviness that made your spirit feel slow, the fog that made your mind feel dull, the emotional fatigue that made your heart feel weak, none of it is permanent. I have seen the tears you cried quietly, the mornings where you struggled to rise, the moments where your smile felt forced, the days where you functioned on empty, and still you pressed on. You did realize that your endurance was seen by heaven, honored by heaven, and now is being rewarded by heaven. I am lifting weariness off you in layers, lifting it from your mind so you can think clearly, lifting it from your heart so you can feel deeply again, lifting it from your spirit so you can rise without heaviness.